Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Kiss my ass. I don't know if I was ready for this, Josh. Are you ready to go ahead with this?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Although I'm a victim of a crime.
You have currently been
Committed.
Robbed? What happened?
Robbed of some innocence. This crime was committed upon me by one of my most trusted associates. The most elaborate D-pick assault in the history of wieners on camera. I was the victim of.
Doesn't surprise me.
You got to talk to me here. You've received a D-pick from someone that you trusted.
Yeah.
And you called it what?
I called what do you mean? The whole thing?
Yeah.
I called it the most elaborate D-pick assault in the history of wieners on camera.
That sounds awful.
It's a story of misdirection, cunning patience, a determination that I unknowingly exposed myself to a surprise penis that I didn't want to see. And a friend of mine was framed for the phallus. This guy, this evil genius, he thought so much about this that I'm impressed and disturbed at the same time. So I have a friend who he loves the internet smut. And he also enjoys sending friends some of the web's more odd-looking penises. It's just something he does.
He sends his friends.
Like, hey, I saw this, and he'll explain what was going on, right? He'll say, hey, in this scene, this was happening, and look at this weird penis, right?
Man, I don't know if this, I don't know if I'd want to hang with this sumbitch.
Oh, he's one of the best guys I know, and for this kind of clever genius. But so usually he'll respect my request not to send me that. I don't want to see it.
Right.
But every once in a while, he would break that agreement.
Okay.
And especially if, like, he's like, hey, you want to come over for this? And I'd say, no, I don't want to come over for that. Then he'd have a retaliation weird penis. And usually it's the same one.
Okay.
It used to be this guy, massive specimen, wearing red basketball shorts pulled down to his knees. And he used to send that to me in so many different situations that he bought me red basketball shorts for Christmas. So it was we knew what was going on there.
I was with you once at a youth sporting event when he sent you that photo.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So I know about this, so I kind of almost feel like a victim because I looked at that photo while there were children around.
That's right.
Running around playing sports.
Yeah, you were a party to that, and the look on your face was the same as mine anytime it showed up.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it catches a guy off guard.
All right, so I have to take you back about 3 weeks at this point.
3 weeks now, Ashley.
So about 3 weeks ago, I activated that censoring feature on phones that can automatically blur dirty photos.
Dirty photos.
Yeah, so he was stymied. I said, go ahead, send whatever you want, because I just see a blurry thing. I know it was inappropriate right away. I could delete it, didn't have to worry about it. Now we fast forward to last Friday. I checked the mail, and I saw it an invoice from a contractor who's doing some subpar work on my house right now.
All right.
And I thought, well, that's odd, because he's done a lot of stuff at our house, and usually he emails me. But he was out of town, so I thought, okay, that's what he mailed this invoice.
Went to your mailbox at your home.
Right. And so, like I said, usually he'll email me the overcharging that he does for me over and over and over again. And then I open it, and I brought it in case anybody wants to see. I open it, and it says, let me get the direct quote. Overdue, due immediately. And it has been a while since he invoiced me. And then I open it up. And it's a penis, which I learned later was a guy edging, right?
Great. I'm glad he gave you the context on the D-pic.
I text the contractor and called him a bastard. I'm like, I can't believe you did this to me. Well, it was another friend who wrote the contractor's information on there, so he framed the phallus on a completely innocent guy. And I talked to the friend, the guilty party, and explained the situation. I'm like, I can't believe he did that. I was shocked. That's out of his personality. And then I finally, and it never dawned on me that he'd be behind it. And he revealed that he was the guy that he told me. He's like, I told you I was going to get you with another D pic. So he waited 3 weeks and mailed me this picture of a penis.
Wow, that is a lot of effort.
That's dedication right there.
It's the best prank that's ever been pulled on me. This is better than Gator Jesus when he texted in a fake name, and I was so excited to mention that his family member was making a debut for the Wild. He got called up, and he gave me one of those fake names. The first name was Gabe, and then maybe you've heard the rest.
Right.
That he got me big time. I can't believe I fell for that. So this was good. And if anybody wants to see it,
I'll take a peek.
You want to take a peek?
Yeah, I want to see it.
All right,
Curious
are you
now.
sure? Is this HR approved? I don't know.
Yeah, if I agree to it, right?
I mean,
No, this is
you're on
something-
thin ice already with the Human Resources Department, Josh, but you got to do what you got to do.
So if you're consenting, you can open that up if you want. I was expecting
That is ridiculous.
to see an invoice, and that's what I saw.
What would you have rather had, a big bill or the penis picture?
The bill.
Ouch.
This guy may,
picture
in
looks
fact,
painful.
be Big Bill. I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, he's got like a C ring on there. It looks like he's ready to go. And
It
then-
looks really painful.
Yeah, so my friend told me he was watching an edging video and screenshotted that, waited 3 weeks and mailed it to me.
So you have this friend who's so dedicated to this gimmick over and over again, sending you pictures of strange-looking internet penises. He committed himself to this elaborate bit. I'll give a guy credit where credit is due. You likely never suspected that you would receive a weird penis pic in your old school mailbox at the house.
And I was so unprepared for it that I believed that it came from this other guy.
Why wouldn't you? You always have contractors at your home.
Yeah, and he was out of town, so I thought, okay, maybe that's why. And it said open immediately, so we get all this training on cybersecurity. I fell for it. There was the urgency, right, to get you to do something. So I open it and I go, wow, I better pay this. It says do immediately, and that's what I find. And so there were some clues. And one of them is I never realized it's got a stamp on this envelope, and I didn't look closely enough. But you know how the post office will put their ink stamp over it, saying received here or whatever they say. There's nothing like that on here.
Okay.
So
that's something I never would have noticed.
So he also drove to my house to put this in my mailbox, which, by the way, I think is a federal offense.
I think it is, actually.
To mail someone
To put
adult
something in
material?
someone's, well, that too, but put something in someone's mailbox. I thought there was a rule against that.
This dude has a lot of time on his hands.
Well, he owns his own business. He's the boss.
What a friggin' story.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's one of the better pranks that's ever been pulled on.
Yeah, that's so fun, though.
We all have an appreciation for a decent prank. Wow. Great friggin' story. Like I said, I don't know if I would want this guy as one of my bros, but there you go. We are looking forward to next week. Josh will be turning 50 years old. And speaking of bros, 2 more pals of mine are celebrating birthdays this month. Today, actually. So let me take an opportunity to say happy birthday to the one and only Big Al.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday, man.
And also Dougie.
Happy birthday.
2 of the best pals I've ever had. Also, 2 of the best beer drinkers I've ever seen in my life. I've lit both of them up many times on this here radio show. I've told terrible, embarrassing stories about their disastrous personal lives. I just don't always use their names in the stories. We go way back. You know, Josh, believe it or not, for the majority of my younger days, I was very active. I loved to go play hockey and this and that. Dougie's place growing up, one of the birthday boys today, Dougie, his place growing up was where we went to play hours and hours of wiffle ball.
Oh, nice. They must have had a big backyard or a park across the street or something.
Yep. Nice-sized yard. Now, today is National Backyard Day. And wiffle ball made its way into a report is how I should have said that. Wiffle ball made its way into a report here on our favorite backyard games.
Played a lot.
Yeah?
A lot of wiffle ball with the bigger kids, yeah.
Let's start with wiffle ball. I always liked it because you could put so much jazz on that wiffle ball.
My oldest can. He's great.
But my complaint always about wiffle ball is if there was even just the slightest breeze, the ball just wouldn't travel.
Right.
You know, you get up there, you're looking to kill the ball, and it just wouldn't travel, and it would spin off the bat in weird way. And then what would you do, right? You'd wrap the ball in duct tape to try to make it a little heavier so it would travel, and then the duct tape would crack after a while. So I liked wiffle ball, but wiffle ball also was kind of a pain in the ass. If you weren't pitching, wiffle ball kind of sucked. But it did make this report, like I said, about our favorite backyard games of all time. The others, cornhole, which is nowadays like the go-to game.
Yeah, there's scholarships to certain colleges for it, big money, and some televised events.
I find the game so boring.
Every once in a while, you'll find cornhole on television. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way. I played it a couple of times, and I am completely content putting it away for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I always make the mistake every summer. I sign up for some type of bags league, and then after like the first week or two, I regret it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, this was fun for like 3 seconds.
You come in here in the mornings, you tell us how you're like, oh, I'm tired. I went to bags last night. I'm like, well, how long does that take? You're like, well, we had to get there at 7, and our final game was at 11:45 at night.
See,
what the hell?
That would make me so mad because they have a set time, and then you get there and you don't play until an hour after the set time. What's the point of the set time?
It's almost like it's a ruse to get you in there to buy beer and food.
Gosh, that was so dumb.
I have a custom set I was given for Christmas one year. I haven't used it as much as I should. It's the Property Brothers. I've got Drew and Jonathan, one on either side.
That's awesome.
I was also gifted a cornhole set game, whatever you call it, years ago. Played it twice. I know people love it. And I know it's all about, beer drinking and hanging out with your friends and all that. I get that, but it never really grabbed me. If you care at all, Cincinnati is credited with coming up with the modern version of the game cornhole, but also there are folks who say it goes all the way back to 1883.
Whoa.
Bocce ball.
Oh, I love bocce ball.
What movie? Splash. Bocce ball makes this report of our favorite backyard games.
Do you see it much at barbecues or
Not
anything?
anymore. Used to.
I never see it.
Used to. It's been replaced by cornhole, really.
Really has.
Yeah.
But when we were younger, years ago, we played a little bit of bocce ball. What movie? Splash, again, if you didn't hear me the first time. I really liked it. I did. What does it say here? You can play it anywhere. You don't need a legit bocce court. You just need a nice patch of grass, just some open space. So, yeah, I dug bocce. My brother and I almost got in a fist fight in front of children while being too competitive during a game of bocce ball a good 20 years ago.
I don't think I've ever played it correctly.
Oh, I don't know what you might have been doing wrong.
Get closest to the small ball. That's what you need to do. Are you talking about like scoring and whatnot?
Yeah.
Did you throw it into the neighbor's yard or
the
what?
Scoring stuff? Like I don't even think we would really keep track of the score. It's just like, all right, let's have some fun.
Were you saying
throwing
something
these around
a minute ago, Dana, about bocce ball?
Yeah, my neighborhood growing up, we had big backyards and no real fences or anything, so they're all kind of connected. And me and the buddies in the group in the neighborhood, we would play long distance bocce ball, where we'd take the small ball, throw it as far as you possibly could, then take the heavier ones and then just start heaving them towards it, and just, it would be like 40, 50 yards away, We'd have to go collect our balls and get closer and closer. We weren't doing the 10 feet away rule or anything.
Wasn't there a bar here that had that in the basement, bocce ball?
Yes.
Halftime rec?
Yeah.
That wasn't that.
Okay.
Yeah, because this was 1999 or something. You said halftime rec. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I was thinking of that video game place you go.
Oh, up, down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It was halftime rec.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was.
I took a bocce ball to the head.
It happens.
We found that, Dana, when we were there. We were like, I wonder what goes on downstairs. Bocce ball? What?
I was not expecting
cool.
bocce ball down there.
Yeah.
I tried it over there at that joint once or twice. Good old-fashioned two-hand touch or flag football.
Definitely.
Oh, we never played flag football.
Tackle?
I would just, absolutely. Me and my brother had best friends growing up, and they were the same age as us, one boy, one girl, so it was perfect. And The older brother and my brother, when he felt like it, absolutely destroyed me so many times. Like, I have to have, at least like 10 concussions on record from what they did to me.
Here's the deal. If you're going to go out and play touch football, if you don't throw a violent cheap shot at somebody, you're doing it wrong. Because there are a lot of folks like you, Ashley. It sounds like you let your guard down. Folks will let their guard down when you're playing touch football, and that's when you light them up.
I've never played flag football.
No. Well, they made us play flag football in junior high, in gym class. But no, no one in their personal lives chooses to play flag football. You just play touch football. Why do I got to bring a rag from my mom's kitchen and tuck it into my pants when we can just play friggin' touch football? Of course, when you're young, grade school, junior high, you play a lot of football with your buddies. We had, for whatever reason, there was a resurgence amongst my group of friends to start playing football again when we were like 25, 26, and we played tackle, and it was just awful.
I bet.
It was just awful. We were just terrible to each other. Elbows in the friggin' yap and forearms to the throat. I don't know.
That's fun, though. I'd love to watch that.
Oh, it was a riot, but we were just by the time it was over, we were just a mess.
It's different now. As a kid, you always wanted to be quarterback. Everybody wanted to be all-time quarterback. Now everybody, because of Justin Jefferson, wants to be wide receiver.
I know, it's
silly. And then also with my friend and his buddies, nobody wants to play quarterback. Even like in the organized leagues, very few kids are interested.
It's
weird.
Doesn't make any sense to me at all. But it's all because of the trendy, now wide receivers are the big stars in the NFL. When we grew up, quarterbacks and running backs were the big stars in the NFL.
That's what you wanted to be.
Josh, here's a dirty trick I used to play when we were involved in playing tackle football into our 20s. When I was 20 years old, I developed a heart condition. So I could always use that excuse when we went out to play football in order for me to be quarterback for both clubs. Hey, guys, I can't run. I got a heart condition.
That's awesome.
I'm going to have to be quarterback and I loved playing quarterback for both because I was great at it.
Yeah, who wants to keep running routes?
No.
That's ridiculous.
Sucks. Remember the story, Josh, I told you about? This was one day. Again, we're in our 20s playing tackle football at our old high school, 10, 12, 15 guys. Somehow I got screwed out of that all-time quarterback gig, and I had to, cover somebody and also run some routes on offense. Remember the story about when the stoner kid that I went to high school with beat me for a touchdown?
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying that.
I thought, okay, if I'm not going to be quarterback, I'm gonna cover the easiest, what I perceive to be the easiest dude to cover. So when we lined up on defense, I said, well, I'll take Donnie over here because Donnie was the stoner kid from our school, well, one of the many stoner kids from our school, and I don't think I ever saw him play a sport when we were in high school. So, of course, I'm going to cover Donnie. This is going to be a cakewalk. Well, Donnie beat me down the field once and ran a decent pass route and slid and made a beautiful catch in the end zone. So he burned me for a touchdown. But the best part about it, Donnie being the stoner kid, as he caught the ball, this is what I heard. I heard him go, He dumped a stoner laugh on me as he was making the...
Now, was he a sleeper or was that just an anomaly where he could never recreate that? Did he get lucky on that play or was he actually pretty good?
He was a better athlete than I thought he was.
Really? It kind of reminds me at my son's basketball game a couple months ago. There's this kid on his team who's actually a good player at 5'2". Maybe he's really little. Well, maybe 5'3". Anyways, not that it matters. But for whatever reason, in the last game, the coach put him on the tip-off against a kid that was 6'1". And the families, it was just pretty much parents watching. Everyone starts laughing. Like, this is crazy. What's going on here? Well, the 6'1" kid whiffed. So the short kid got it and scored the opening bucket. And, everyone's rolling with laughter. I was even going to videotape it because my wife couldn't be there. So I'm like, this is so silly. And I thought this kid was going to get woofed. And that taller kid, I'd imagine it was uncomfortable when he went back to the bench.
Oh, yeah, he's going to hear about that one.
No dinner for him.
Oh, no. That was
once he got home.
One of the best sporting moments I've ever seen live.
It's National Backyard Day. Here are the rest of our favorite backyard games. Not for me. I'm out on this one. I can't go along with this. Kickball sucks. It always has sucked.
Oh, I loved kickball.
It sucked in school.
Oh, you really never liked it?
No.
I was never a
It was
fan
dumb.
of it.
It was dumb. The ball's too big to throw somebody out. The ball was too bouncy. I hated kickball.
I loved the sound. I
hated the sound. Oh, I hated. I'm sorry.
Remember when how popular that was for a while?
Oh, the adult league.
Yeah, the adult league.
Oh, I know.
We had one here, back when we used to have employees, that we could retain. There was, 200 people that worked in this building. We had a huge team.
Oh, I remember this now. You talking about? I never knew that we had a kickball team. Maybe because I was vocal about how much it sucked.
Yeah, I played on it just a couple times, and that was all I needed. But I thought that was fun.
What
didn't you like about it?
Well, I mentioned the ball's too bouncy, and you couldn't really field it because of the bounce. It would bounce off your chest. And I remember when we played it in gym class, and the teacher would be like, well, throw him out at second. Will you come over and pick up this wacky cartoon ball and try to throw somebody out? Yeah. Then you'd throw it to second, and it would bounce off of the second baseman. It was just so dumb.
Nobody would be covering second, so you
Yeah.
just throw it to nowhere.
Although, I did see one of the greatest sports-related things I've ever witnessed in person. Playing kickball in junior high, and we're all like, oh, great, kickball. We didn't want to be there in the first place. Little did we know this wonderful moment was going to happen. A kid got up to the plate, and he attempts to, of course, kick the living hell out of the ball, and he kind of stubbed his toe in his dramatic leg swing, right? Mm-hmm. And he kicks his hip out of joint.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude.
And suddenly this dorky kid from my 8th grade class is lying on home plate going, ah! Ah! And none of us knew why until he explained that he had kicked the hip out of the socket. That was awesome. I'll give that credit for being an awesome moment. Other than that, I could not stand kickball.
I just never liked being up to kick. I've always felt way too self-conscious.
Too much pressure on you?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
And you were a
That's why I
softball
hated it.
player.
Yeah, you were an athlete.
Yeah, not when I was in elementary school. I did not have much confidence in that area.
It's too close to soccer.
You know what? Good
Kickball
point.
never.
Maybe that's why I didn't like it.
You didn't want to be there because it was too close to soccer.
No, I wish you guys liked it. I thought it was so much fun.
I'd probably
I'm
like
glad
it if
you
I was
enjoy-
tuned up.
I wish you guys did.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Josh. I just thought it was so dopey. Horseshoes, sure, that's fun.
I don't think I've ever actually played.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that can be a lot of fun.
My dad's really good at that.
Badminton is another one of our favorite backyard sports.
I love badminton.
Oh, I was
so
so
popular in high
excited when
school.
my parents brought that home.
I should get one of those. The last time I played was with you, Nick, at Randy Shaver's oldest high school graduation party.
Oh, what?
Forever ago. I haven't
Randy's
played-
oldest son's high school graduation party.
Yeah.
We played badminton on that day?
Remember in his front yard? Remember?
No.
They always have those at grad parties. That's
They
the
do.
only time I ever play.
I was meant to play racket sports. I just wish when I was a kid I would have recognized it. I mentioned earlier it's Big Al's birthday. Growing up, there was nobody in Hennepin County that could beat me and Big Al at badminton. Nobody.
Gamer Jesus. Go ahead.
Somebody mentioned mat ball. I should have seen.
Matt?
Checked who said this. Real Dirt Nasty Jesus mentioned mat ball. So this isn't a
What's that?
backyard game, but we used to play this in gym class, and it was really fun. So it's like kickball, except you have those big, soft gym mats as like the bases, and so
Okay.
when you would dive onto them, you could just like go flying across the. It was so much more fun because you're diving around
Did
the
you
gym.
play that in school?
Yeah. That was a blast. I'd love to play that again.
Gamer Jesus said the most dangerous game known to man, lawn darts. And then he wrote, nothing says summer backyard games like yeeting an 8-inch iron rod at family members. Yeah, I remember a couple times folks getting nearly killed with those.
It's great. Those are illegal.
That makes this report, Josh. Lawn darts. And sure, it was very popular when I was a young kid. In the 70s, lawn darts became very popular. And none of our parents thought twice about letting us go outside with these lethal, sharp, I don't know, what were they, Josh? Maybe 5-pound darts?
They definitely had a couple pounds to them.
No
for
parents
sure.
thought twice about us going out and playing.
And back in the 70s and 80s, they were always rusty. So if you're going to get something, you're going to come down with something if you get pierced by that.
Get that bonus tetanus shot on top of getting it pulled out of your lung.
Has anyone here played the modern versions?
No.
Is it
plastic tip?
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Couple kids had to die for us to learn our lesson with lawn darts way back in the day. Also making the list of our best or favorite backyard games, ladder toss. Played that a few times with the golf balls on the rope.
I've never played
fun.
that. I've seen it. I haven't played it.
It's a good time.
Once you get it down.
It's for some it is somewhat difficult, Cubby, but you're a terrific. You got a great arm.
Yeah, I'm known for that.
And then you go with croquet.
I always liked croquet.
Oh, I love that.
I always felt so sophisticated playing croquet.
Like an Englishman.
Yeah.
Me and my brother would fight when we played croquet.
My parents bought us a croquet set when we were tiny kids, and I think I don't really remember ever attempting it. We thought it was dumb, and so I don't know if I ever played croquet. And why our folks thought we'd be interested, I have no idea. You know, my brother and I spent our weekends watching AWA wrestling and beating each other to death. Maybe they were trying to calm us down a little bit by buying this, like Josh said, sophisticated, non-contact type. For me personally, I enjoyed some of these, as you heard. Our game in my backyard, my family's backyard, we were known for this. We played every chance we got from the time we were probably about 14 all the way through into our 20s, and that was stickball, or at least our version of stickball. Tennis ball, and then you cut off a wood hockey stick and you play stickball, a version, obviously, of baseball, where if you ground it past the pitcher, that's a single. It's just a one-on-one game. There's just a pitcher against a batter. You ground it past or line it past the pitcher, that's a single. If you hit our house dead on, it's a double. On the roof is a triple. Over the house is a home run. We played over and over and over and over and over again. We had tournaments, loved stickball. My buddy Dane and I still haven't finished what we called the Stickball World Series. We started it in 1987. We still haven't finished. The series is tied at 3 wins apiece. There's a Game 7 we still haven't gotten around to, and now we're 53 years old. But that was our thing, hands down above all else.
I do like those neighborhood rules you'd come up with as a kid. You know, like you were saying, Nick. On the roof is a triple. Over the, every rule or every game, every neighborhood had those specific type of rules. If you get it in this person's yard, it's that, that type of stuff. I love those.
We had I can't throw a curveball anymore, and I used to have the best friggin' curveball this side of Barry Zito and Burt Blyleven. I can't throw a curveball anymore because I blew my elbow out playing stickball. That's how much we played. And Ashley, you'll enjoy this side story to all of our stickball games. Growing up, I had 2 Springer Spaniels. Of course, the best girl in the whole world, rest her soul, Megan Marie, and Megan Marie's son, Pat. They belong to my brother and I. And we grew up on a major highway. And this was so stupid. We never leashed either of those dogs. Never chained them up. Never put a fence up in the yard. But they were so well behaved and they listened so well that all you had to do was just kind of a little, and they'd turn back. If they started to head towards that highway, we'd just give them a little, hey, and they'd turn around. But we still never should have. We should have been more careful. But so the fun part of playing, of course, we used to play ball with the dogs also. The fun and bizarre part of playing stickball is when I'd really tie into one and the ball is headed for the highway, both the dogs would go running for the ball. And so in my follow-through, I'd have to go, hey, no. So the dogs wouldn't run into the highway and be instantly killed. Why we never paid closer attention, I don't know. But that was always the rule I had to tell, if a new guy came over and played. Hey, if you hit the ball, I'd have to tell them, if you hit the ball and you see the dogs chasing after it, call them off.
Did you guys have any rules if the dogs did get a hold of it?
No, I don't think we...
Was an inside the Parker? Nothing like that?
No, they
inside
would
the Parker?
The thing is, they rarely got in the way. They would just kind of watch, you know what I mean?
That's cute. I love that.
But we were dumb. We could have easily killed both of those dogs that way.
We played a lot of 500.
500's a great game.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That could be on this list.
Sure.
Full contact 500, too.
Or just regular catch. Played a lot of regular catch.
Yeah,
There you
same
go.
here.
Yeah,
I like to go out and have a catch with the boys.
I still love that. I do.
Me too.
Get me a friggin' mitt and a baseball. Let's just play catch for a while. I love that too. Doesn't have to be all that complicated in the long run. All right, you bastards. What else is going on here? It's Wednesday, middle of the week. Randy Shaver will join us a little bit later. We got plenty to cover, including the Stupid News Report, which will be coming right quick here next on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid News on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Happy National Backyard Day, everybody. Lots of anal sex jokes are coming through on the text machine.
Yeah, what? And I don't necessarily appreciate the target of those anal sex jokes.
Did I say the title of the day correctly? Did I say backyard games?
I don't know if you brought
Maybe
the
I just
games
said
up.
This time I think I accidentally just said National Backyard Day.
Yeah.
What it is National Backyard Games Day. So we were talking about some of our favorite backyard games from when we were kids all the way up to today. Couple of text messages popped up. Like I said, a lot of butt sex jokes.
Directed at my mother.
Your mother's always the target of all of the sex jokes. How about Red Rover? Here's a listener saying, we used to play Red Rover all the time, and that game grew some hair on your chest. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about throwing some cheap shots on the undersized neighbor kid. You know what I mean? Red Rover, send them on over.
Did you guys throw disparaging nicknames into who is supposed to be sent over? Because we did.
Definitely.
Usually very insulting things.
I don't recall.
Yeah, like send moron over, but much worse.
No, I don't know if we used derogatory names. We were more just focused on the violence we were going to unleash on whoever the Red Rover was. Kickball came into the conversation as a favorite backyard game. Personally, I thought it was a complete waste of time. Cubby loved kickball.
I sure did.
One of our listeners texted in to say in high school someone put Crisco on the gym floor where home plate was for kickball.
Okay, that would make kickball a lot more fun.
That's dangerous.
That could kill the person.
Guess who was first up to the plate? Our listener says, I slipped so bad I almost did a backflip, landed on my head. Thankfully, I was fine. It was hilarious. Kickball was canceled that day.
In college, we had hardwood floors in one of those apartments we lived in, and somebody spilled like some pledge, floor cleaning stuff, and it got really slick. So we decided to just pour the entire bottle just a few feet inside the door. So it was a Friday night. We started calling some buddies over, like, hey, we're drinking beers. You want to come by? We'll go to the bars later. So one by one, friends would walk in. We'd say, oh, hey, good to see you. Just take your shoes off. We just clean the floors. And sure enough, they get down to their socks. They take 1-2 steps to the sweet spot where we knew it, and they would go ass over head right on the floor. And it was just got funnier and funnier the more drinks we had. Like, okay, who should we call now? Who should we call now?
That is so fun.
You know what I always wanted to do is the saran wrap trick, where you saran wrap a doorway. And, of course, you have to be very thorough and make it just as tight as a drum, or people can see the saran wrap in the doorway. But if you do it right, I've seen plenty of videos where you say, oh, Christ, get in here real quick. Maybe you're watching a ball game and somebody walks right into that saran wrap. I don't think I have the skill set for it, Josh.
We should try it. I'll bring some in.
To this day, when I try to wrap a sandwich in saran wrap, I just make a complete mess. I ball it up and throw it away.
It's not easy.
No.
The cheap stuff makes it even worse. I was at a house party where somebody did that over the toilet, and it got a couple people. That's the first time I ever heard of that prank.
Maybe that's where I should start if I ever get the vibe that I want to become the saran wrap prank guy. Maybe start with a toilet because it's a smaller area. I could perfect my craft that way, and then move on to doorways.
Yeah, I think a doorway would be difficult even for somebody who maybe uses that type of cling wrap for their job. That wouldn't be easy. But I suppose, nobody's expecting it.
No.
So you're not really inspecting it.
Oh, I'd fall
close.
for it every friggin' time.
I would too.
Bet.
I bet I'd get myself on it immediately.
I like the videos where it's the same person over and over and over again, and they get the guy like 20 times. What do you do? You think you would know. Put your hands out.
All right. Here we go with the stupid news. Second chances still exist in today's world. You don't have to look around too long to figure that out. And I'm okay with that. In most cases. Not all, but most. I think damn near everybody deserves a second chance.
I agree with that 100%.
Not everybody, right, Josh? But damn near.
There's some things you can do where your second chance shouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. Even the best people do some pretty dumb stuff at times.
Take this stupid English airline pilot, for example. Maybe you remember the guy. He got gassed from his pilot job a couple years back when he admitted to snorting lines of cocaine off a gal's big fat rack just a few hours before he was due to drive an airplane full of passengers from one place to another. Now, that's effing dumb.
That's the only sex thing I've never done. Cocaine off of a set of breasts.
Every other sex thing.
Everything else I've done.
You've done it.
Yep.
But you're turning 50 soon. We should get on that, before your 50th birthday.
I can't afford the cocaine.
It is pricey.
You've tried it.
And that's the only reason I've never done it.
Have you done it in the Amazon position?
Well, I don't even know what that is.
That?
But I bet
Let's
I have.
He draws a picture.
I don't picture you getting it.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I think I have the right term.
All right,
Ashley's looking it up.
Well, so I was on my laptop. I'm going to go to the work one. I don't want any viruses or anything on mine.
Did you find it yet, Smashley?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I come over and take a look to make sure I have the right term?
Yeah, for
right.
sure. I mean, this one seems pretty basic, so.
Oh, I don't know how basic that is. I don't think my quads could handle that.
That takes some flexibility.
Yeah,
Josh,
I'd get a
right.
cramp.
Yeah, but, okay, Ashley,
You're a young
I
person.
have the right term, but do all of you understand who's on the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. In this picture, it's the gentleman.
Yeah. Can I see it again?
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, these are just both.
You got to see it on video.
Is that the one?
It's close what you're showing me, Josh. You got to see it on video. The Amazon position.
I didn't realize that the dude was on the bottom. That does sound. That does change things. Yeah.
I mean, you got to have something down there to make this work.
Yeah, 100%.
The Amazon position. It's not a position a lot of guys want to get into.
No. I wouldn't be able to get past the thigh. I don't know how that works.
All right. Josh has done everything.
Everything.
As far as sex goes, he's done everything but snort cocaine off a lady's guns.
That's the last thing on my bucket list.
That's
all I want for my birthday.
That's what got this pilot fired. He admitted to snorting cocaine off a gal's fun bags just a few hours before he's got to fly an airplane. An airplane company called British Airways canned him for that. At the time, he was a married guy with a kid, so I'm sure that was a spirited conversation he had with his wife when he got home that day. The pilot goes by Mike something or other. We're going to call him Captain Dinkus. Captain Dinkus was partying his ass off summers in South Africa, even though he knew he had to drive the airplane back to London at one point or another. And as I mentioned, hilariously, Captain Dinkus busted himself when he showed up all high on blow to fly the airplane that day. He had to tell one of his flight attendants about how cool he was with the cocaine and the naked boobs and all that. He's one of those guys that can't keep a secret for dick.
Yeah. Got to brag about it as soon as it happens.
Mm-hmm. I know a guy or two like that. Like, say, you and your bros are out raising hell, maybe a bachelor party, right? You're out of town for the weekend. And you all agree what happens here stays here. You say it out loud. You make a pact. Yeah, trust me. There's always one or two guys in the group who don't really believe in that rule, and then they get a few dudes in trouble with their wives when you all get home because stupid ass couldn't help but open their yap. Happened to us a couple of times.
Didn't you say like the most vocal person
Yes.
about nobody say a word was the one who spilled the beans?
Yep. He was the loudest one when we were out of town. Hey, boys, everyone quiet down for a minute, all right? I got to say something. What happens here stays here.
We're men.
Yeah. Are we all in understand? Does everyone understand what happened? Nobody says the guy wasn't home an hour and a half before he told his friggin' wife everything we did, and then all of our phones are ringing all night long.
That's why you have to make sure that your significant others, they aren't friends with each other. My fiance would be completely safe because I'm not friends with any of his buddies' girlfriends.
Okay, that's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. I mean,
just keep them apart.
That sounds like a lot of work.
No double dates.
That's a great idea, but it sounds like a lot of work. How about you make sure your friend keeps his friggin' mouth shut? I mean, but that's also you can't trust some people. Oh God, my phone rang. And my wife at the time answers it. Hello? What? They did what? And then she hangs up. Did you guys go and get a hooker? Whatever happened, right? You know. And I'm like, what the hell happened? I've been home for 2 hours and somebody already blabbed.
That is a quick turnaround.
I've heard those and seen those things happen so many times that when there's a vocal person about something, I always think, they're the ones to worry about.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That counts, I think, in all aspects of life.
Absolutely.
It does.
Like, we took, when the kids were younger, we took them to, I guess a haunted house, but it was a place that had a bunch of haunted houses. Buck Hill. Nightmare at Buck Hill. That's what they call it. Mm-hmm. It put on a great show. And once we pulled into the parking lot, both of them were like, this isn't scary. I'm not scared by this. This is weak. And at that moment, of course, I knew they are terrified. Yeah. They are so terrified, but they're talking a big game. Mm-hmm. Now, to his credit, my oldest, he hit it better, but my stepdaughter was terrified, like hanging on to me, didn't want to go through. We go through one that was like scary clowns. She wanted to leave early, find a way out of this tent. Mm-hmm. By the way, Bass Slayer Jesus isn't believing that I've done every single sex act except for snort cocaine off of a flight attendant's breasts.
Why would he doubt you?
And he says he's calling cap.
Cap?
Cap.
That means...
I've done that as well, by the way. I've done the cap.
That means BS?
Yeah, like lying. The young people say that.
Oh, no, you're a sexual pioneer.
I like to explore.
Taught me things I didn't even know existed.
Josh is the...
I'm the sex guy here.
He's the innovator of the rim job.
Yeah. I've been on both ends of it.
Back to this pilot. When Captain Dinkus told his flight attendant friend that he was high on coke. The flight attendant did the right thing and got the flight canceled that day. I think any of us would do that. What, the pilot just admitted he's doing friggin' blow? Yeah, I don't want us to lift off.
What an idiot.
It's
Airplane
terrifying.
companies don't like that kind of thing, Cubby. That costs them lots and lots and lots of monies. So that was it for Captain Dinkus. He was fired. But after 2 years, sitting on his ass, he's back. He's flying for some foreign goods cargo carrier called European Cargo. Not everybody in what they call here the aviation industry is happy that Captain Dinkus is back behind the wheel of an airplane. But from what I understand, he's not hauling live human beings anymore, though. I believe, Josh, nowadays he's flying a cargo plane full of rubber dogs out of Hong Kong.
Oh, shoot.
What movie?
Top Gun.
Top Gun. What year?
1984. 1986. Eastbound at sundown, Jesus said the problem with cocaine, I've heard, in parentheses he writes, is that the only way you stop is when you run out of cocaine.
I've heard that, and that's kind of caused me to never want to try it.
Mediocre Machinist Jesus says, just to confirm, you have gotten pegged? Yeah, dude, I said I've done everything.
Everything.
Is our signal messed up?
Is he speaking English?
Yeah.
Yeah, second chances. Damn near everyone deserves one. And I think I'll give Captain Dinkus his second chance. Not that he needs that permission from me, but okay.
I might not put him behind the yoke.
You're not ready to give Captain Dinkus a second chance?
Maybe a second chance working for the company, but maybe he's a co-pilot.
Okay. Maybe he loads the airplane.
I mean, if the guy, yeah, he could be one of those guys.
Second Chance, by the way, great song by 38 Special. What year? 1988. But yeah, everybody, you can trust me. I'm not going to say a word about this weekend. What happens here stays here. Not always a true statement.
Whatever, fireplace Jesus. Go ahead, doubt that I've done everything. I've done everything. This person says, I'm a pioneer, did missionary with the lights on. Gross.
Yeah, not all of the sexual acts that Josh has tried. He hasn't enjoyed all of them. Some of them he finds gross.
I don't like any of them, actually.
Like that Amazon position.
How's that even possible?
Looks like a good way to get your wiener broken, too. If you do have the wiener that's capable of pulling that position off.
Yeah, there are ways that weens can be broken. What happened over there, Josh?
Somebody asked if I motorboated my grandma. No, I mean, I'm not. I didn't say I had sex with everybody. I've just tried.
People are having a hard time understanding what your statement truly meant, and I don't understand. Nobody motorboats their grandma. What do you think? He's some kind of a sick maniac or something?
Oh.
Ugh.
All right.
Although they were fantastic. What?
I heard something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why some folks have the idea in their head that the police will also act as an Uber driver on demand. Being a guy who has a new addiction to watching entitled ass rags get straightened out on police YouTube videos, I'm hooked on that. I love watching entitled puke bags get pulled over, and then all the nonsense and all the drama and all the entitlement that comes out of their mouth, and the cops still pin them up against a car and cuff them for a D-dub or whatever the case may be. I love it. And that is a gimmick I've seen quite a bit now, this give me a ride home idea. You know, drunk and disorderly garbage pile human being will be completely disrespectful to their neighborhood police, right? And then ask for a ride home. And the cops usually say no. For two reasons. You've been acting like a raging anus this entire time. And number two, we're not a taxi service. You're a grown person. You should have organized a ride home before you poured a liter and a half of lemon spice Bacardi into your yap. You know, you should have.
Agent Cop Jesus said, Nick, that they enjoy making those videos as much as you like watching them.
They do.
I don't know, because I do love watching that stuff.
And ask him, has he ever had the person that says, Why'd you pull me over? You suck. I'm your boss. I pay your tax dollars. You're an idiot. All that. And then they say, well, can't you just give me a ride home? No. After all of what you just said to me, now you expect me to give you a ride home. All right.
A lot of people asking if I've ever tried the Alaskan pipeline. Yeah, but at the time it was the Minnesota pipeline. This was before it became the Alaska pipeline.
It hadn't gone that far yet.
Yeah.
Docking, yes, tried it.
Oh.
Here's a guy who was visiting the alligator state. He was over there visiting from Georgia. He was asking a little too much from the local cops down there, don't you know? He opened the back door of a cop car, hopped in, and demanded the cops at the wheel, or the cop at the wheel. He hopped into the cop car and demanded the cop at the wheel give him a ride home. He's a 31-year-old character by the name of Andrew.
I like that he demanded the cop give him a ride home.
Right. And by the way, when Andrew planted his little carcass into the back seat, the police cruiser's emergency lights were flashing, so it was obvious to everyone but Andrew that they were busy with other things at the moment. The cop decided to humor Andrew, who was, of course, drunk. The cop said, well, where do you live, son? Andrew said he lived in a place called Statesboro, Georgia, which was just a short 55-mile drive.
Wow.
Hey, it says to serve on the side of the squad, jerkwad.
Exactly. That's one you hear once in a while in those cop videos,
Yep.
too. Oh, it's protect and serve, right? So then why don't you give me a ride home?
And the best is usually they think they're very clever.
Yes.
Like they're the first person that brought that
Yep.
up to the cop. The cops never heard that before.
Nope. Well, the cops took this dildo to jail for being a stupid idiot. Oh, we talk about our traffic laws on this year radio show from Tam to Tam with our pals from the Minnesota State Patrol. We got old Gordon Schenkenstein and his bro, Icy Hot Mike Lee. We talk about our traffic laws. We do. What would you think of a deal like this here if it became a thing round these parts? A driver in Bydam, Switzerland was fined 110,000 Swiss dollars for driving too close to the vehicle in front of him. How do we say it around here? Tailgating. Drafting, some would say.
I like that.
What? You're okay with a $110,000 fine for tailgating?
I don't tailgate, so yeah.
So if it doesn't affect you, you're good?
Absolutely. I hate when people do that more than anything in the world.
Well, I've mentioned it before. It seems like a lot of times the folks that are tailgating someone they're tailgating the worst driver on the road. It's like the most dangerous thing you can do.
Right. It's making a bad situation even worse.
There was a bumper sticker I was thinking of getting. It's a little dark. It says, I want to get it right. It's about how I'm pregnant, so if you kill me, you'll get charged for 2 murders or two homicides.
You know what, Ashley? Go for it, because I love funny bumper stickers. And that's a lot. What are you talking about? That's the darkest thing I've ever heard in my life. Why would you put that on your car?
Because maybe it would have somebody think twice when they're riding my ass for no reason.
I'm pregnant, so if you kill me, you're actually committing a double homicide.
Yes, that is what it says.
Jesus.
Well, that depends on your trimester, right? There's debate about when you're
That
when
is
it's a
true,
human
Josh.
being and when it's not.
You are not wrong.
So you better say how far along you are.
Make it so specific.
Yeah.
It
Have
also
by the
depends
day
on
you
what-
just keep ripping them off.
Yeah, I can change the weeks.
And it depends on what state you're in. There's a lot of factors you haven't considered, Ashley.
I'm going to have to get multiple. Be prepared.
Josh, are there people who are very passionate on either sides of this debate?
From what I've heard it referred to as a hot button
I
topic.
think so.
So you might get tailgated by somebody, actually. You might be bringing on the anger.
My God.
Bass Slayer Jesus says it well. Ashley, she's a whole vibe. LOL. You're a vibe.
You are a
Thank
vibe.
you, I
I'd
think.
probably crash into you because I would be reading your bumper sticker and I'd be thinking, well, where's the punchline in this sumbitch? That's all it says. I'm pregnant, so if you kill me, you're actually killing 2 people. Where's the rest of the joke?
I don't see. It probably says something about me that I think it's slightly funny.
I would wait for it to, Josh. I would wait for it to go ... wall drug or something like that.
Okay, I like that.
Right.
Aeronautical gravity tester Jesus. I've never heard this or seen this bumper sticker. I've heard a similar one. He said his favorite bumper sticker that he owns is, if you ride my ass, you probably SD too. Now, I've heard, if you're going to ride my ass, at least pull my hair. I've seen that one before.
Sure.
That cracked me up.
Now, Ashley, you said you were fine with a $110,000 fine for tailgating. Probably because you're assuming with a fine like that, dude must have been so far up the other driver's can that they were risking an unplanned pregnancy. But that's not the case. The guy was driving 40 feet behind the other vehicle. There is no specific definition, is how you say it, definition for tailgating in Switzerland. But the cop who witnessed the deal said the offender appeared to be stuck to the other car's bumper enough for it to be reckless. So it was a judgment call. 40 feet?
I thought that, isn't 40 feet about 2 car lengths? That's what we were taught in driving school, is you want to be about 2 car lengths away.
And here's the deal on that massive fine. In Switzerland, okay, so now here's where maybe it would come back into your favor, your argument or your statement that you don't have a problem with that type of fine. In Switzerland, fines are based on your taxable income, is what they call it. And that gimmick was created to make sure that the rich folk feels the punishment of a driving offense like that just as much as we regular losers do. So that's why the fine was so big. It's based on your income. Now, this here tailgating driver was apparently a millionaire lawyer, and he's been fighting it in court. Of course he is. He's a lawyer. There's good news and bad news for the rich dude. The ticket was upheld, whatever that means, but it's a suspended fine, whatever that means. Oh, wait a minute. I actually can tell you what that means. Dude won't have to pay the $110,000 fine ski as long as he avoids committing another driving offense over the next 2 years of his wonderful, rich life.
Yeah, I mean, as the story goes on, it gets better, right?
Yeah.
But
That's a fat-ass fine.
that's a big fine, especially when there was no harm, really. I mean, you shouldn't tailgate, but
Nobody was injured.
Yeah.
No damage was done. And
I understand what they're saying, though. They want you to everybody to feel it the same. And if he doesn't have to pay it, if he just drives well.
that's going to be a stressful 2 years of driving for the
man,
guy.
he's going to be on his best behavior.
He's got no time to read your hilarious bumper stickers.
Oh.
He's just focusing on everything that's going on around him, or he's going to be sucking on a $110,000 fine.
Do you guys brake check people?
I don't do anything
No.
on the road.
Just mind my business.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
one of those where if somebody rear ends you, you're instantly going to regret your move, right?
Yeah, that's what I always
You're
thought.
trusting other people.
When I see people do that, I'm like, why would you trust the person that's already driving like an a-hole?
I am the most nondescript driver in the county. Josh and I have discussed this many times on the air. We both hover around 60, 62 miles an hour. I'm a defensive driver. Nothing that I do is aggressive in any way. Now, Ashley, if you want to ask that question to someone and get a much more interesting answer, what was your question? Do you ever brake check people?
Yep.
Next time you see my brother,
Was he a big fan?
ask my brother. He is the most aggressive, angry, and absolutely out of control driver in town. Just ask him, hey, what kind of a driver are you? Have you had any episodes, any incident? It'll be an hour long of him venting and screaming and yelling. He'll chase people down.
Wow, that's intense. I used to be a little bit more hot-headed when I first started driving, but after a while, I realized it doesn't help anything. So
That's what,
who cares?
usually if you get a little older and you've seen some accidents,
Yeah.
or maybe you've come close.
I just internalize it now.
Service Tech Jesus said it used to be 2 seconds back, and I remember that where they'd say pick a station, something stationary like a sign, and then count 2 seconds. And now he's told it's 3 seconds. So 3 seconds back at this point.
Oh, yeah, my brother told me a story recently where he's on a 2-lane highway, 3 o'clock in the morning. He goes to work very early. And there was a guy that was on his ass. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're the only 2 guys on the roadway. He's on my ass. Now, I'm trying to picture this, but I have a feeling he has a completely different idea for what on your ass means than I do, right? Then the guy tried to pass me. No way I'm letting that son of a bitch pass me, right?
What?
So now he and this guy at 3 o'clock in the morning are going 95 miles an hour, neck and neck on a 2-lane highway. Obviously, the other guy's facing into oncoming traffic because my brother won't allow the guy to pass him.
I had a lady once, and I was in the slow lane. I always go 4 over, so the cops don't think I'm a nerd. So I always go 4 over, and this lady was basically in my back seat. She was so much on my tail there that I thought of asking her if she needed me to adjust the temperature, if she was comfortable back there. She was sitting right next. It was insane. I've never been. I have no idea what happened. And then she just kind of did that to everybody. So it wasn't. I thought, did I cut her off somehow? I've been sitting here in the right lane. But that was her thing.
Did you turn it into a high-speed chase?
No.
And then a physical confrontation in a Target parking lot or anything like that?
I did not.
Josh, you would never. I would love to see you blow up like that.
And
When I was younger, maybe, but yeah, I wouldn't do that anymore.
Josh is very calm behind the wheel.
Well, now everybody's ready to shoot someone.
I don't get it. I've never understood why driving is such a serious thing for some people. I mean, my God.
It's a competition for some.
To a lot of us, it's a competition. I don't get it.
You're driving a killing machine.
I've said it before. I am the most relaxed all day when I'm driving. Nothing bothers me. I don't understand this high-strung, son of a bitch type. And my brother tells these stories as if we're all going to go, yeah, I understand. I would do that too.
Yeah.
No,
I
would never do that.
I wonder if it would be worse if we actually had to deal with traffic every single day.
Oh, I
or
hear you
an hour or two, because when I would drive to my fiance's house when he lived in Otsego, I would get on the road at about 4 or 5 o'clock. And that's when I realized, wow, okay, this driving thing might actually really suck.
Okay,
this traffic is awful.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think I drive in rush hour traffic twice a year. You're right. That might change things.
It might, but
I don't think it would. But then again, I'm not in it very often, so that's a very good point.
I don't know how people do that every day.
I run hot as hell on 9 topics out of 10, or 9 experiences out of 10 that you can have in a day. Driving is one of the exceptions. It depends on the person, because I'll use my friggin' old man as an example. He drove over the road for 45 years. I never, ever once saw him come uncorked, even in the slightest when he was driving. Ever. So I think it more depends on the person.
This is great. Somebody asked me, I had mentioned there was the lady essentially in my back seat. He said, was it a blue Hyundai? If it was, that was my wife.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's some folks texting in that are drivers for a living and saying, yeah, people suck. People suck now. And, how many times have you seen a story about since the pandemic, it's totally changed?
We're all so angry and
yeah.
it's just a mess.
Yeah, the rush hour is a good point, Ashley. You're right. We don't experience that.
I don't know.
That would make me crazy. I really don't know how people do that twice a day.
It impresses me as well.
I could handle it.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
We just kind of offhand ask them, do you like Waffle House? The answer is yes. It's like we sign them. If it's no, we never get them. So I told my staff, I was like, hey, y'all can save a lot of time and money. First phone conversation, in passing, ask them, do they like Waffle House or not?
You think that guy's being for real, Skis?
I hope not.
I bet there's a little tongue-in-cheek there.
That's the head coach of the University of Troy, or Troy University. I'm not sure the proper way to say it.
I think it's Troy University.
Is that in New York or something like that?
I thought it was Alabama.
I'm going to go along with it. Yeah, he doesn't sound like he's from New York. The head basketball coach at that college, he goes by the name of Scott Cross. He upped and said that he only recruits players that like a Waffle House. He asked the players when he's recruiting them, do you like Waffle House? If the answer is yes, they sign him. If they say no, they let him go.
I guess you do have to be a little crazy to not like it.
Josh, you ever had any of that Waffle House action?
No, I've never been to Waffle House.
If you didn't like it, it's like saying you don't like breakfast. Or I guess they have more than that, but still, it's really good.
Sits on Baby Sheezes said that S is the bomb at Waffle House. And people seem to love it, and also late-night altercations at times. They get a reputation for that.
Exactly.
You go to Waffle House past midnight, you're going to see some stuff.
There was nothing like the brawling and the arguing of the 3 a.m. 24-hour breakfast joint when we were young.
Well, that's always what it was. It's like, okay, it's 3. We're all drunk.
Very drunk.
Perkins? Should we go to Perkins?
Right.
Or Taco
Perkins was
Bell?
the spot.
There was a Perkins in St. Cloud State for a long time, right in downtown, right by the bars, that was open 24 hours a day. And I hope karma has worked out in a way that the people that worked there have all won the lottery or something great has happened to them, because that place was a war zone.
Yeah, the overnighters took some abuse, I think.
I'll put Perkins up against any Waffle House.
Yeah, I've never been to a Waffle House, but I love Perkins. That Country Club Melt, if you're going to go with like a lunch or dinner item,
F me running.
that's
Dude,
the bomb.
so good.
Sits on Baby Sheezes.
We had an altercation at a beer party in high school, and then it just so happens we run into this same group of fools at the 3 a.m. I think it was a Denny's maybe in my neighborhood, and the altercation fired up again there at Denny's, and my buddy had to punch a guy in the yap. And when he hit the guy spun around so quickly he broke his own ankle.
Oh, no.
So that was I'm windmilling, hash browns and eggs into my yap, and guy ended up on the floor with a broken ankle. It was a friggin' riot.
Do you remember Zembers?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Was there a bunch of those? I mean, we had one that we would go to in Richfield.
There was only one that I remember, and it was down the road skis.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was a handful of them. I mean,
Yeah.
It wasn't as big as Perkins, I don't think.
Of course, I remember the Embers.
Oh, the hash browns with the melted cheese.
Sure.
That was the bomb.
I've
Sits on
heard
Baby
things
Sheezes.
about those hash browns.
D in the dirt. College hoops, they got it all fired up last night. The play-in games, one of them was wildly exciting. The other, not so much. We'll tell you all about the high school basketball tournament when we get to Randy Shaver here in about a half hour. Timberwolves at home tonight. Pigs at home tonight. We got plenty to cover. For now, we'll take a little breather. Josh's news report is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations. I'm no tech genius, but I knew if I wanted my business to crush it, I'd need a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost made it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. In minutes, my site was set up. I couldn't believe it. The search engine tools even helped me get more site visitors. Whatever your passion is, you can set it up with Bluehost. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, what have you got to lose? Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
If you're going to film a music video, do it in a regulated place. Obviously don't do it right next to somebody's house in an abandoned building where you're breaking into it.
At least 5 people were arrested after breaking into a historic Jewish temple on Indianapolis's north side to shoot a rap video. The wannabe rappers smashed through a glass door of the nearly century-old temple, hoping to record a smash of their own. When police arrived, they spotted several people, some armed, bolting from the building. Hopefully they're better at rapping than running, though, because despite the musicians' best efforts, at least 5 were immediately taken into custody.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Pretty disrespectful. Inside, police recovered a firearm, a collection of camera equipment, and one bewildered videographer who claimed he was just there to shoot a video, apparently unfazed by the unauthorized venue selection. But built in 1925 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the long vacant temple had remained undisturbed until this impromptu hip-hop break-in.
Wish that everyone would treat historic places and historic properties with the same, reverence that I do.
The suspect,
even if it's not a historic property, you can't just break into someone's friggin' home and shoot a rap video.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was just built. You're right.
Right.
Or it wasn't a place of worship. The suspects now face misdemeanor trespassing charges.
You know what also ticked me off about this story when I read it?
That it wasn't a ska band?
I was really hoping that there would be audio or, some type of band name for this rap outfit because I wanted to hear just how awful they are.
I checked 4 stories and they didn't say.
Same here. I was just desperate. I'm like, just give me a name of one of the rappers. Give me the group name they go by. Nothing.
Remember there was a rapper at one point or another who was called MC Poopy Pants or something. Does anyone remember him?
Not off the top of my head.
I'm going to look him up. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. There was a rapper who made the conscious decision to be MC Diarrhea Pants or something. I'm going to get back to you on this.
My favorite musician name right now is Boogie with the Hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love Boogie
I love Mr. DeHoodie. What is that?
Boogie with
DeHoodie.
Yep.
Is he a rapper or what does he do?
Yes.
He wears a hooded sweatshirt more often than not, I would imagine.
I've never seen him. I just know the name. But there's another guy, he's like a country music artist that has a rapper name. So I thought, you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I do
He was in
not.
a Super Bowl commercial, if that helps. I don't know.
I remember this rapper now, Josh. I don't know if he's still around. I don't know whatever came of him, but I remember him from years ago. He went ahead with this title for his act, Shorty Stain. I'm not kidding with you. Look him up. Maybe he's got a couple records available from Columbia House or whatever happens these days.
Illegally horny Minnesotan? Meet the cop pretending to be a teenage girl. Cop pretending to be a teenage girl? Meet the illegal horny Minnesotan who also happens to be a 40-year-old Minnesota state senator and married father of 4. Police arrested a state senator in Bloomington Monday on suspicion of soliciting a teenage girl for sex. A Bloomington Police Department news release revealed the senator thought he was meeting a 16-year-old girl, or 17, depending on which report you read, but he was really communicating with a detective. As a 40-year-old man, if you come to the Orange Jumpsuit District looking to have sex with someone's child, you can expect we're going to lock you up, said Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges, referring to his department's anti-crime initiative, the Orange Jumpsuit District. Police say the senator showed up in his pickup truck near Normandale Avenue and was arrested without incident. He hadn't been formally charged as of yesterday afternoon, but Bloomington police said charges of soliciting someone under 18 to practice prostitution are pending.
What kind of gig did the guy hold down up until yesterday?
Yeah, state senator.
State senator.
Yeah. That's all, just a state senator. A 56-year-old Tennessee man's been arrested after exposing himself at both a Dollar Tree and a Target. You can't do that at Target.
You're okay with the Dollar Tree, though?
I'm not okay with either.
You come to expect certain things in life.
You have to understand, I walked that thin red and khaki line back when I was asset protection for Target. We didn't allow that.
You didn't see any penises while you were working?
I saw plenty.
Where did you see all the penises?
It was mostly one guy that would show up, and he'd end up in the women's underpants section.
And you spotted a naked wang hanging out of his pants on more than one occasion?
Yeah.
Sounds like a stressful job. But what did you guys do? Chase him out of there?
Yeah, usually, or call the cops. Although there was one time, it may or may not have been my boss. I can't fully remember who it was, but there was a particular person that threatened, said, we've kicked you out of here so many times. We've called the cops. You keep coming back. Next time, I'm going to beat you to death in the back alley. Threw that out. Guy never came back. Never once.
He took his whacking over to Walmart.
Hey, I don't know where he went.
I'll be damned.
1 week ago today, Officers were called to a Dollar Tree after a man exposed himself to a woman and her kid as they shopped. Before authorities arrived, he sped off in a pickup truck looking forward to pulling out his peen at a Target. Police later identified the nut job as Clark Ratliff. And while speaking with him, they discovered another woman and child had also been subjected to his exposed noodle. About 12 hours northeast, there was another example of a guy who doesn't know how to be appropriately horny. A 33-year-old Connecticut man was arrested for an incident at a customer's home Friday. Police said they got a report of an Uber driver who asked the customer if he could go in and use the bathroom. After a few minutes, the driver opened the bathroom door and showed the customer he knew how to masturbate.
God.
Prove it to me right now.
The person's being nice. Yeah,
just awful. It's awful.
That's something else. Only a handful of states in America require you to be ready for possible alligator encounters. Michigan ain't one of them, usually. But employees at a motel near the northern tip of Michigan's Lower Peninsula still found themselves face-to-face with an unusual piece of forgotten luggage, a live alligator, thanks to a guest who checked out and left it behind.
Really?
It's crazy.
Louisiana and Florida topped the list for the highest alligator populations, about 2 million and 1.3 million, respectively. And the southeastern U.S. has a firm grip on the cold-blooded creatures, which need warm climates to thrive. Michigan doesn't check any of those boxes, so alligator sightings in the Wolverine state tend to make headlines, and the Pine River Motel in Sheboygan got its turn in the spotlight thanks to what went down last week. The motel manager and his nephew went to clean out a room last Friday after a guest, an animal handler who visits schools with his assortment of exotic pets, checked out that day before. The manager said his nephew peeked under the bed and got a surprise.
Dang.
A 3-foot-long alligator named Wally.
Police found that Wally's owner had been in town to conduct assemblies with elementary school children and had several exotic animals with him for the presentations. The owner discovered Wally was missing but didn't know when or where the alligator escaped. Sheboygan police say the owner came back to reunite with Wally.
So he forgot Wally?
I guess, or he just didn't realize he didn't have. That's a 3-foot alligator. What else does he have where that's left behind?
Forget about the gator.
I wish they would have said everything else that he had. The manager described Wally as a real friendly alligator and said responding officers even got a chance to hold the reptile as they waited for the owner to arrive.
What, was his yap all taped shut and whatnot?
It didn't say.
Oh, because that's the only way I'm holding an alligator is if you tape his yapper.
We had one here. Did they tape its mouth?
I don't.
It in some way?
They must have, because when you said it out loud, I didn't, have a flashback.
I don't believe it was, because I remember you being nervous about that, Nick, and you not wanting to hold it because of that reason.
I'll go along with it. I don't remember the details, but I don't like those bastards at all.
Bushlight Bowhunter Jesus, the person with the name that I thought was a rapper, but is a country music artist, Shabuzi. I think that's it. That sounds right. Are you guys familiar?
Yeah, I love Shabuzi.
Does he have like the Red Cup song or some song?
The bar song, Getting Tipsy.
Yeah, no. That's the one.
Never heard of the
Shabuzi.
guy.
You've probably heard the song a million times. It's a typical bar song.
You've been to the bar that I hang out at. Are you sure about that?
I don't think they're
Honestly,
blasting
yeah,
Shabuzi.
I bet still, because I've been to like some local bars where it looks like there's nothing but 70-year-olds in there, and it's in the top.
A younger crowd.
Yeah,
A younger crowd.
Than what Nick's used to hanging out with. A reckless driver believed to be high on meth led state troopers on an 80-minute high-speed late-night pursuit spanning multiple counties, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a mouthful of stranger spit. The case began in Minneapolis when a state trooper attempted to pull him over on Interstate 94, but instead of stopping, he floored it, weaving his SUV through the city. At one point, he cut across oncoming traffic, narrowly dodging several vehicles, then darted through a car dealership's parking lot before crashing into a parked car. But he wasn't done. The 23-year-old veered off the road, plowing through yards and smashing fences in Brooklyn Center.
That is really unnerving that something like that could happen here. And my dad came out and said, my God, our fence is broken and the neighbors don't have a fence anymore.
The suspect ditched his wrecked vehicle and took off on foot, but authorities caught up with him about 30 minutes later, hiding under a tarp in a backyard in St. Michael, a city whose Wikipedia page proudly boasts former Minnesota Twins broadcaster Dick Bramer, WWE superstar Chad Gable, and professional boxer Caleb Truax among its notable residents at one time or another. A search warrant reveals a trooper discovered a discarded backpack during the suspect's failed attempt to flee from law enforcement. Inside, officers found a small glass pipe and some tinfoil. Cops won't need to request DNA from the suspect because they got it. As the suspect was being loaded into an ambulance after the crash, he spat at a state trooper, hitting the trooper in the mouth.
No.
Right in the mouth.
No.
Ick.
Meth
mouth.
Yeah, meth spit in your mouth. When you read St. Michael's Wikipedia page, did they mention anything about the corner bar?
Didn't say anything there.
You know what we used to do at the corner bar, Josh?
What's that?
We would kick it.
Oh, man, I love to kick it.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the weekend I'll kick it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. A 35-year-old Florida woman was arrested after committing the same crimes she was already out on bond for, fleeing from police and driving with a suspended license. The Polk County Sheriff's Office, with a touch of sarcasm, as they have down there, noted she admitted to running because she knew jail time was inevitable, given her prior offenses. The latest incident unfolded after a deputy spotted a silver Ford Mustang convertible swerving on the road. When the officer attempted a traffic stop, the driver hit the gas. During the pursuit, she dangerously cut through oncoming traffic and a gas station parking lot before briefly disappearing. Deputies located her shortly afterwards and attempted another stop, but once again, she took off.
What's the problem here?
She doesn't want to get caught.
Okay.
A pit maneuver, however, ended that chase. After her arrest, she admitted she fled to avoid jail and acknowledged her license had been revoked since 2009. She also admitted to using meth earlier in the day.
Again with the meth.
2 stories in a row about car chases and meth being connected. Maybe it's a bad idea. A 37-year-old Florida woman was arrested for aggravated assault yesterday morning after a workplace dispute, complete with a bite to the cheek and a steel rebar blow to the head. Just before 9:30 a.m., troopers rushed to a construction zone on a report of an assault in progress. Finale Maris, a construction worker at the site, got into a heck of an argument with a coworker.
Finale. She must be the youngest?
I don't know. Or maybe
you follow the joke there?
Yeah, I got it.
What time is it?
It is, oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that, 7:45. Well, I didn't realize how late it was. Oh, I got to ditch a couple things here.
You didn't get to tell us about Finale. She was on meth.
I'll finish that.
She bit somebody's face.
My word, yeah.
Rebar.
So she gets into an argument, and she sinks her teeth into the guy's cheek before smashing him in the head with rebar, leaving him with serious injuries from the blow she gave him.
Sounds serious.
Gosh, that would hurt so bad.
Despite the rough morning, the victim declined a trip to the hospital, opting for on-site EMS treatment instead.
Well, F her then for the way she behaved in that particular moment.
Yeah, that was not cool. Holiday Station Stores, Red Wing Shoes, and 93X have your chance at a year's worth of free gas. Weekday mornings at 9 a.m. and then again in the afternoon at 3. Listen for the keyword for $93 in free gas. Then qualify for that grand prize, free gas for a year. You can click on the free gas. Sounds like it said free gas.
You did.
Yeah. Click on the free gas icon on 93x.com to learn more. Thanks again to Holiday Station Stores and Red Wing Shoes for free gas for a year.
Here it comes.
Los Angeles Dodgers icon Clayton Kershaw, 37 today. Comedian Theo Von, 45. State Farm pitchman and fitness influencer Andy Reid, 67. Bruce Willis, 70. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver
on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
3.4 seconds left, and here we go. This is where dreams are made. They're going for it all. Simpson, home run play, the deflection. Oh! The layup! Alabama State in front. Here we go. The madness has officially begun. I love it.
Hello and welcome, Randy Shaver.
Well, thank you.
It's all you today. Brad Ryder called us earlier. Do you know what he said to us, Randy Shaver?
He probably said, I have embarrassed myself enough on this radio station, and I would like to step down effective today.
Step down.
Well, good guess.
Is that what he said?
Good guess, but no, he said, I don't feel very good, he said.
Oh.
And then he called his brother Kip to come pick him up from school.
Oh, boy.
Brad has diarrhea.
Oh, boy. I wonder if Brad, because he, you're asking us to have our significant others pick our brackets.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Brad's way of getting out of that.
He is quite spineless. So anything's possible.
We love Brad. We're just kidding.
Of course. So we're going to lean all of our weight 100% on the ass man today, just like the old days.
Just like the old days, yes.
You carried this program for many years.
Still do, actually. At least that's what I hear.
You heard the audio there.
Yeah, great game. Great finish.
One NCAA tournament play-in game last night was exactly what the television network executives fantasize about while they have sex with their husbands and wives. That's exactly, especially for the opening game of the tournament. I mean, I know some folks don't count the play-in games as the official, but the opening night of televised NCAA basketball, they have this wonderful ending where it came down to a Hail Mary full court pass, last tenth of a second type play. Alabama State defeated St. Francis by a bucket on that miracle last second layup. It was magical. And then game 2, North Carolina just eviscerated San Diego State by 27 points.
Yeah, and then they also got a triple overtime game between, I believe, Chattanooga and Middle Tennessee State.
Well, that's the NIT, isn't it?
Oh, is that the NIT?
Yeah,
okay.
the NIT.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
you're
okay.
Right. No, you're right. But I mean, there was some pretty good basketball all the way around last night to kind of get things started. So,
man, I don't know if I have the energy for triple overtime.
Certainly not when it starts at 8 o'clock or whenever that game started last night. Yeah.
So, what a great way to start the tournament with that Alabama State win. And then, unfortunately, like I said, the second game was just a gong show. Tonight, I feel bad for Brian Dutcher.
Yeah. UNC is, there's a lot of controversy about North Carolina even getting in to start with.
Right.
That West Virginia deserved to get in before they did. And I think they probably took a little bit of that to heart last night, too.
They took it out on San Diego State.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't think we belong here? We'll show you that we belong, by damn.
Now, Brian Dutcher has been talked about as a candidate or a possible candidate for the Gopher job.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful?
I wonder if his elimination last night might speed that process. Darren DeVries ended up getting the job at Indiana yesterday, so he's no longer a candidate. I guess we'll have to wait and see if there's any discussions. I mean, Dutcher may get interviewed for the job. I don't know if he gets it or not.
Right.
So
everyone seems to be leaning towards this Nico Nedved guy from Colorado
State.
But I would love Brian Dutcher to get the job. Not only do I feel like the guy's a qualified friggin' coach times 10, I think the guy does. He was with the University of Michigan when they had the Fab Five thing happening, right?
That is correct. He coached with Steve Fisher.
Now he coaches San Diego State. They were in the final, what, a year or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So I would love that. And, of course, his dad is a damn living,
He's still around.
Living legend.
Jim is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 games on True TV tonight, and they feature American University versus St. Mary's. Very patriotic and religious theme there in Game 1 tonight. And then followed by Xavier and Texas. You mentioned our brackets. We're going to have our significant others fill out our brackets this year.
Has anybody had their significant other attack the bracket yet?
No.
Yeah.
We talked about it last
She
year.
attacked something else, I'll tell you that.
What's the protocol for this? Do they fill it out? Do we print it up and take a picture and send it to you, or what do we do?
Yeah, why don't you do that, Randy Shaver?
Okay, all right.
Write it on up.
Protocols.
Old school pencil, pen, whatever you got. Take a picture, send it to my cellular telephone or my electronic mail, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
It's the significant other bracket mayhem, Josh.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Hopefully it'll create some fun.
I got mine right in front of me right now. She filled it out last night, and I'm just looking at it now, and Oh, I hope some 5 seeds get hot. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned 5 seeds. Wait a minute. You're saying your fiance already filled it out?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Well, I don't even want to tell him. I don't want to tell him, but I'm going to have to tell him. What I was reading earlier, SB Nation, a website called SB Nation, dumped some tips out there for folks for filling out your NCAA tournament bracket. They say there is at least some method to the madness. There are 15 of these supposed tips. A lot of them are really dorky and boring, and you have to be a college football moron to even understand what they're talking about. I'll just toss a couple into the mix here that anyone can understand. And one of them is don't pick a 5 seed to win it all.
All right.
True.
All right, I need to start saving some money then if we're actually doing a dinner bet on this thing.
Yeah, I think that was like tip number 4 on the list of 15.
Yeah, it's up there. Here's why, Dana. Every seed from 1 to 8 has produced at least one national champion, except for the 5 seed. A 1 has won it all, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 6, 7, and 8. All of those seeds have won it all. A 5's never done it.
Well, first time for everything, boys and girl.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that line of thinking. They ask you or they advise you to get a little wild with one Final Four pick. The last 4 tournaments and 5 of the last 6 have had at least one team seeded 8 or worse in the Final Four. If you remember, and for whatever reason, it is so difficult to remember now. As soon as the tournament's over, I forget everything that happened.
I do too.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, when I was a kid, that wasn't the case. My God. But
have you had that with Super Bowls, too? Especially if it's when you don't care about it.
Oh, sure.
Obviously, we're going to remember last year's thanks to the Eagles. Yeah, there's times where I have to think about it. Well, I'm like, wait, who was it last year?
Why was that information so easy to retain as a child, but now I suppose because life gets in the way. Life finds a way. But, yeah, I mean, Stanley Cup, NBA Final, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I forget instantly. Okay. A year ago, North Carolina State, who was an 11th seed, made a run to the Final Four.
Oh, that was fun. And you're right. I completely forgot about it.
All right, next tip. Pick at least one 12 seed to win in the first round.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, the 12 versus 5, that happens every year, at least once.
Don't automatically move all number 2 seeds to the second weekend. Now, you have to be listening closely. I didn't say the second round. I said the second weekend. Don't automatically move all your number 2 seeds to the second weekend. In 24 of the last 27 years, at least one number 2 seed has been knocked out before the Sweet 16.
I remember, like, 2001, Jake Sullivan was playing. He was a local kid. He was
Iowa State.
Iowa
Out
State.
of Tartan.
Out of Tartan. Amazing basketball player. He was on the varsity team from the time he was in, like, 6th grade. And he was a freshman at Iowa State. They were a 2 seed. I took them to win it all, and I was so confident because I'd seen Jake play so many times in state tournaments and stuff. Very first game of the tournament, they get knocked out. Very first game on Thursday. 2 seed, done. My bracket in the garbage can.
That sucks.
So, Randy, I have a little bit of a grudge against you and your Iowa State people.
I don't blame you, and again, that's why you got to take the emotion out of it, because if you start thinking that I personally, I think Iowa State's got a good basketball team, and how they got to be a number 3 seed, though, I'm a little not sure about, but yeah, you got to take the emotion out.
All right, we'll get back to Iowa State.
There are trends. I mean, Nick is right. There are trends that happen, and you forget about them sometimes when you start your bracket. But the 12 and the 5, that's a trend that has happened more times than not in round 1 of the tournament, where a 12 upsets a 5.
And, sometimes, because, these college kids, they read these articles just like we do. Sometimes that stuff gets into their head. It's a mind F. Sometimes I bet
it does, especially as a young person.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I bet there's times where the Selection Sunday, a team sees they get the 5 seed, they're like, I kind of wish we were the 6, just because the 12 versus 5 is so notorious for upsets.
In that big moment, they get in their own head like I used to before I made stage announcements back in the day. I would be sure I had everything nailed, and then I'd walk up there and introduce the absolute wrong band name.
That was one of my favorite memories.
I had that problem.
Yeah. I was there for one of those. That was fun.
Yeah. I said, 30,000 people. Everybody get ready. There's going to be something coming up to the stage. And I realized I had completely forgotten who I was about to introduce. So I turned to Josh and I said, who is this again?
and they're
Josh,
standing right behind us looking sad.
It was a dumb 41 or something. Some 41. And I had that. Trust me, I knew that for an hour leading up to it. But when the moment came, I totally forgot. Then there was the other band at Medina. They were just an opener. And very nice manager for the band walked up to me. And that's rare. Usually band managers are bags of D's.
That is true.
For whatever reason, the band manager is always the biggest prick in the house.
And sometimes they're the only jerk, and they go for it.
Yeah. But in this case, this guy was very nice. They were very appreciative of playing in front of a good-sized crowd over there at Medina Ballroom, and he knew I was going to go introduce the band. And these aren't exact terms, words, titles here. I'm just trying my best to spin the story properly. He said, hey, man, very nice. We had a long conversation, and he said, hey, don't forget that we're on Southern Records. Southern Records is the name of our record company. So make sure you say, hey, from Southern Records, here's the Milkmen, right? And I said, got it. And I got up there and I said, all right, everyone, we're going to have a great time here tonight at Medina Ballroom. I'll meet you down in the bowling alley. Here they are from Northern Records.
That's the worst.
It's the pizza delivery men. And I walked off thinking, boy, I nailed that. Sure. I see the manager in the back, and suddenly he doesn't have such a friendly look on his face. And he said, do you even realize what you just said? And I said, no, dude, what did I do? And he said, you got it all wrong. And he still was quite friendly and forgiving about it. So he must have been a new band manager.
They hadn't wore him down at that point?
No. All right, more tips on filling out your bracket. Now, this takes a little homework. Conference championships typically matter. So that way, you're going to have to go on ESPN.com and look up which one of these clubs won either their conference regular season or their conference tournament. Those teams typically do well. And that's something that I do not pay attention to outside of the Big Ten. I do not pay attention to who won their conference tournament or who won their conference regular season. Be mindful that the Big Ten sucks.
That's true.
When it comes to the tournament.
That's true.
They may pile up some wins along the way, but no Big Ten team has won the whole sumbitch since who, Randy Shaver? And I'm sure Medical Device Jesus is texting
Michigan
already.
State, I'm sure.
Yes.
I don't know the year, but...
Josh, it was the year 2000. Back when Mateen Cleaves was running things.
So it's been 25 years?
Yes, it has.
Since a Big Ten team has won a national title.
They also say the West Coast typically sucks eggs. The last...
Like the Pac-12?
Yes, that general area. Arizona was the last Western... 1997, Arizona.
Which has now been sucked up by the Big Ten. So.
Right. And finally, don't feel bad about picking a number one seed to win it all. Yep. Number one seeds have won more national titles than all other seeds combined.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you fill out your bracket and you go, oh, Christ, I got 3 number ones. And you go,
Right.
But it works.
Yeah.
Here are some potential bracket busters. Yale.
Yeah.
Colorado State with that Deco Nedved, whatever the guy who might...
Nico Nedved.
Miko with an M.
Yes, Nedved.
The Xavier Musketeers, they play tonight, I think I said out loud. And Iowa State's first opponent, Lipscomb.
Oh, boy.
They say if you're looking to pick a huge upset no one sees coming, Lipscomb might be worth a shot.
I hope not.
It says here they are elite at shooting. They are elite at protecting the basketball and limiting fouls. That's a lethal combination if Lipscomb finds itself in a close game. Iowa State is vulnerable.
My fiance has them going to the Final Four.
No way.
Maybe you'll get lucky.
No way.
You see,
does this change whether or not you're going to actually go through with your marriage in a couple of weeks?
Well, the tournament won't be over in a couple of weeks, but I'm guessing all of our Final Four teams might be dead.
Though.
The bracket could be busted, is what I'm saying.
Your bracket will.
They'll still play the games despite this awful bracket.
Why is it your fiance is riding Iowa State the way she rides all the neighborhood guys?
Don't know. I didn't ask questions, neither did she. She got her laptop out and she goes, I'm going to do some research because I printed the bracket out for her. She goes, I'm going to do some research. And I think she went to ESPN.com for a second. She goes, now screw it. I'm just going to fill it out.
Just went for it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So other people are wondering, hey, you're having your significant others fill out the brackets this year. This person's going through a dry spell. Fraud protection. Jesus wants to know, can I just do mine with my left hand? Yeah, whatever you want. Sure.
If that is your current...
Don't you use a different side of your brain for that? So, yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
If your left palm is your current significant other, it counts.
Yeah. We're a welcoming group.
Or fingers. Whatever. I don't know.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Fingers. Now, Randy Shaver, you're an Iowa State is your alma mater.
Yes.
And so you still have a certain amount of dedication.
I do.
And so I'm not trying to bust your balls here, but I am hoping that Iowa State disintegrates in the opening round in an embarrassing fashion because one of my best pals has a sudden hard-on for Iowa State, and I kind of want to see his entire world come crashing down right at my neighborhood bar.
Yeah, you brought this up off air before. Yeah, he's a huge fan now, right?
Massive fan.
And because he went there?
No.
Oh, because he's from there?
No.
Oh.
No.
You want to keep
that?
guessing?
Why is he? Does he have a child there? Yeah. There you go.
And now, out of nowhere, this guy bleeds whatever Iowa State's colors are.
Yellow, cardinal red and yellow. Yes.
He dedicates his entire day to Iowa State sports.
Should say gold. Cardinal red and gold.
So I want to see them just get pumped, so I can parade around the bar and act as if I know anything about Lipscomb.
So we haven't put any stakes on these brackets yet.
Well, I said the winner, who cares who wins? This at least was my idea, Josh. Who cares who wins? Just whoever finishes last is buying everybody dinner and beers and lap dances.
Yeah, that's not
buying a lap dance for.
You can give me $20. You don't have to go with me.
Yeah, you don't have to know what we're doing with the money.
This one is a little more high stakes than that, though. The loser has to get a divorce or break up, depending on where they are in the relationship.
Oh, I'm in. No, kidding.
Next week from Saturday, I'm standing there to the altar. Sorry, babe, Clemson lost.
Yeah.
We can't go through with this.
I mean, that's drama right there.
Those are high stakes, and I'm with Randy. I'm friggin' in. Loser has to split up and never communicate again with their significant other.
You got to file for divorce immediately.
Jeez.
That's big. That is big. Here's what I know about yesterday's boys' high school basketball tournament. No upsets.
No
upsets. All the higher seeds won, and here they are.
Normally, there's not a lot of upsets in girls or boys basketball tournament.
Is that right?
Yeah, really. Normally, we talk about upsets all the time in the NCAA tournament, but normally in the high school basketball tournament, there's rarely big upsets.
Dana, Iowa State's second leading scorer is injured and out for the tournament.
So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Not a lot of upsets in high school basketball. Okay, here are your winners. I believe Class A has not begun to play
yet. They play today.
Okay.
They play today. Yep.
And that's Cherry versus Bold, Nevis versus Henning. I've never heard of Henning, although I'm a fan of the family. The Henning family.
Yes, that's who they are.
Is that who it is?
They have their own team.
It's Kurt Henning's family.
Yes.
Is playing against Nevis.
That's correct.
Dawson Boyd versus Heritage Christian Academy, Red Lake County Central versus Goodhue. Those are the damn Class A matchups today.
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinal. The winners yesterday, Albany, Caledonia, Waseca, Breck, Mankato East, Tweederville, Totino Grace, Alexandria, Cretin-Derham Hall, Maple Grove, God's Country, Wayzata, and Shakopee.
Yep.
The Henning family, one of the nicest families I've ever had a chance to meet. Kurt Henning was such a great, great talent. in professional television wrestling, and he left us way too friggin' soon. And after he passed, I had an opportunity to meet some of his family, and they were just wonderful people. We kind of got to know his son. Oh, for Christ's sake, I can't think of his name. WWE, what was his name on television? McGillicuddy or something?
Curtis?
Curtis Axel was another one of his stage names. We kind of got to know him a little bit through text messages and emails and whatnot. But anyway, I just wanted to shout out the Henning family, the experiences I've had with them. They're wonderful people. God, how many years ago has it been now since Mr. Perfect?
2003.
Son of a bitch.
Has it really been that long?
Only 44.
Wow.
2003.
I thought it was way. Wow, that is crazy.
I remember one time, my brother, of course, being a big powerlifting animal, he got to know some of these guys at the gym. And every once in a while, obviously many, many years ago, I would duck in there and just walk on a treadmill or something. I wasn't. I never got into all that pressing weights and whatnot.
Just there to use the bathroom.
Yeah, you're doing what like the old folks are doing there.
And I overheard Kurt Hennig talking to some other guys in the gym. And how did he say this again? He goes, yeah, last week all I did was lay on the couch and eat pizza and drink beer, and I lost 5 pounds. This week I've been drinking water and working out, and I gained 7.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Somebody posted, speaking of Mr. Perfect, somebody posted one of those montages of him when he used to cut those promos of like just throwing a football perfectly and stuff. And
yeah,
they captioned it with, I think, a term the kids use now or maybe used to use when they said, man, Mr. Perfect, he just had that sauce.
He did have that sauce, whatever that means. Yeah, I remember those videos he made for WWF where he threw a football perfectly, he shot a basketball perfectly, he did everything. And Randy Shaver, when he was shooting his football and basketball videos, I believe, he shot them with what former great Viking tight end? Go.
Joe Sensor?
No.
Stu Voigt?
No.
Steve Jordan?
You just got a brand new bell. This thing's already losing its steam.
Oh, you got another one, a backup one right there.
Should I hit two of them at once?
Yeah, there you go.
Steve Jordan, one of the most underrated tight ends to ever play the game of football.
Yeah. The Iron Man winner during Les Steckel's Iron Man contest in 1984.
Yes, that's right.
Training camp, Mankato.
Yes, sorry. I know it's Hennig, not Henning. I pronounced it incorrectly my entire life. I apologize for that. Joe was the son who performed on WWF, right? So look up what did we say his stage names were again? Curtis Axel and whatnot.
Yeah, Curtis Axel.
Was his real name not Joe?
Yeah, it was Joe. Joe Curtis Hennig.
Gotcha. No, it wasn't Jim Kleinsaucer in the videos with Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect is not going to associate with Jim Kleinsaucer.
I love Jim Kleinsaucer.
Nobody loved Jim Kleinsaucer.
Oh, we met him once. He was awesome.
He's
kidding,
an awesome guy.
I'm kidding, of course. He's a wonderful guy. Hopefully the Timberwolves have rested up after that marathon ball game with Indiana on Monday night because they're going to have to wrestle Zion Williamson's big ass tonight. Wolves and New Orleans Pelicans tip off at 7 o'clock. If you're not going to be there live and in person, you can find the ball game on the FanDuel channel. Tracy Morgan said the projectile vomit that he sprayed all over the court at Madison Square Garden the other night, he said it was because of food poisoning.
Oh, that sucks.
Hopefully not from the arena.
Yeah, right?
Because he wouldn't be the only one.
No.
I've thrown up so hard before that I've gotten a nosebleed.
Oh.
Food poisoning is the worst.
It is, but after we talked about this, Josh, after you throw up for the 150th time, then you're good.
That's true. It's immediately done.
1 through 149 suck, but that 150th? Ooh,
any other vomiting, usually after one, you're good, but it takes a while. I see, we've had this conversation. I've been very lucky, at least to my knowledge. I've never had food poisoning, but now, Josh, you tell a terrible story about how you were just jetting out of both ends.
No, it was just vomiting.
Oh.
I've never had it out of both.
Oh, I thought it was poop on the floor and puke in the tub.
You've gotten very lucky.
No, it was all vomit. And yeah, I got to the point I couldn't even get to the toilet. I laid next to the tub. And that's one of the times, or that's pretty much an early indicator when I knew things were going to work out with my wife, is she laid on the floor next to me when I had food poisoning. And I've had it 3 times, and all 3 times it was vegetables. So don't eat vegetables.
Dude, it's always vegetables. Lettuce does it for me.
My doctor's always busting my chops about friggin' vegetables.
Well, bring up food poisoning.
Yeah, next time act very concerned about the possibility of food poisoning.
Not a chance in hell if I'm vomiting is my wife going to come into the bathroom and lay down.
Really?
No.
We weren't married yet.
She'd
be in a hotel.
I get my hair held. I get my back scratched.
Oh, God. I wouldn't do that for her. She wouldn't do that for me. No way. I wouldn't want her in there in the first place.
There was one time where I did not want him in there because I had to go from the shower to the toilet to throw up. And so I was completely vulnerable, completely naked. And he came to open the door because he heard me retching. And I was like, no. You don't need to see me completely naked throwing up. That is not something you're going to be able to get out of your head.
Yeah, I bet the body does some weird things.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan says he got food poisoning. He said, thank you for your concern. I'm doing okay. Shout out to the crew that had to clean that up, he said.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Has he become a meme yet? I'm not on social media. I haven't seen any articles on it.
I haven't seen too much yet. I'm guessing maybe people were hopefully waiting to see if he was okay.
Yeah, I'm sure now they'll come out.
Serious medical issue. But now that it's just food poisoning, I'm sure he'll get the meme treatment.
Now, speaking of Tracy Morgan and sickness and all that, here's a listener who said, I had food poisoning once. He said the amount of doo-doo pies I made that week, I could have opened a bakery. Make a doo-doo pie.
Oh, no, it's coming back.
The Pigs are also at home tonight. 8:45 puck drop tonight in St. Paul. What a friggin' ripoff. It sucks to be up so late, especially when your opponent is completely unnecessary. Pigs versus Seattle Kraken tonight at the X. Televised on TNT and that FanDuel setup. FanDuel Part 2, actually.
Yeah, right.
The Wolves are going to be on FanDuel regular. What can you do? You know, I screw the pooch around here quite a bit when it comes to names and when it comes to whether folks are alive or dead. I've announced, or what's the word I'm looking for? I've pronounced
people dead before, yes.
People dead many times on this program when they're fine. A Bulgarian soccer club, if you can believe that we'd ever start a story in such a fashion. A Bulgarian soccer club had a home game the other night. You know, big crowd. They're a top division club, or however soccer folks say it. Big crowd on hand. Home game. They held a moment of silence for a dead former player, only later to find out that the sumbitch is still breathing.
Oh.
That'd be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Actually, quite the tribute to the guy who's supposedly dead, though.
They must have really loved him.
I would start to worry that I was dead.
I'd wonder that myself for a couple of seconds.
Yeah. So both teams gathered at center field, bowed their heads to remember this legend soccer player by the name of Petko Ganchev. He's 78 years old. He's still alive. They have this moment of silence, and then a while later, some of his relatives contacted the club and said, "No, the sumbitch is at my house right now." You know,
it's like the Monty Python. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, a family member watching that going, "Oh no, I haven't heard the news."
Well, that's what happened to his wife.
Oh, yes. Oh
Exactly.
my gosh.
His wife is watching the game, and her husband, Petko, is off doing something else. So she thought, well, what the hell? He was here a few hours ago, but he's dead? Then Petko comes. Petko, I didn't even realize that I take my dog there. Petko comes home, and his wife is trembling and crying and throws herself around, her arms around. He's wondering, well, Christ, you haven't made a move on me like this in 50 years. And she says, they told us you were dead.
She said she thought she was having a heart attack when she got the news.
Oh,
That is
gosh,
so
can
terrible.
You imagine? Yeah, it's terrible.
They kill the poor woman.
I don't know how you F that up.
Yeah, because that had to go through so many people.
Yeah, you had to organize a moment of silence.
Nobody fact-checked it.
No.
Yeah, it's not like one guy just decided, or heard a rumor, that guy's dead. Well, we better say something before the game. I'll take care of this. I won't run it by anybody.
It's, probably one of those social media rumors, right? You hear that about celebrities.
Right.
And somebody saw it and go, oh, we should do this real quick.
All right, how about a little something or another here on your Twins? 2 Twins pitchers, Bailey Ober and Joe Ryan, suffered significant injuries. I'm kidding.
No, God,
I'm kidding.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Don't say that.
2 Twins pitchers, Bailey Ober and Joe Ryan, are considered dark horse candidates for this year's American League Cy Young Award.
I would say Bailey Ober for sure.
Dark horse candidates, whatever that means to you, I don't know.
I think Joe Ryan has to prove he can stay healthy, but Bailey Ober for sure.
The favorites for American Leagues, this year's American League.
There's only one.
Yeah, I know. For Christ's sake, will you make a move on this guy already, will you?
I just watched the pictures I took of him last night.
Tariq Skubal.
Yeah, Tarek Skubal.
Wait, you were laying in bed scrolling through pictures of him?
I was scrolling through pictures from Florida, and I had like 5 pictures of him pitching.
You took pictures of him while you're at the game.
Of him pitching, yes.
No pictures of you and the wife at the game, just 48
pictures of those too, but I get pictures of Tarek Skubal.
Last night, all lights off, just the glow of Randy's cell phone illuminating his face as he scrolls through pictures of a 25-year-old athlete.
Oh, man.
Yes, he is the favorite, Randy Shea.
Yes, as he should be.
Followed by Cole Ragans of the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah. Good choice.
Jacob deGrom of the Texas Rangers.
Well, that'll be quite the story if Jacob deGrom is still around come September because of all the injuries he's had. But apparently he's throwing like 95 right now, which is amazing.
Garrett, is it Crochet?
Yep, Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. Yeah.
Former White Sox.
Yeah.
Now with the Red Sox.
Awesome last year.
Calvin Portner from New Ulm, Minnesota. And Logan Gilbert of the Seattle Mariner. Seattle Mariner.
They actually are necessary.
Yo, the Mariners are very necessary.
Yes.
Yeah. The Kraken, absolutely and completely unnecessary.
Yes. Yeah. The Mariners are necessary.
Speaking of the Kraken, Nick, I can't remember if I've told you this on the air or off the air, but I have a buddy that works there, and he listens to the show still. And so the employees of the Seattle Kraken know about the completely unnecessary, and they all think it's pretty hilarious.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I have a friend whose nephew works for the Seattle Kraken as well. Maybe it's the same friggin' guy.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Is he a Zamboni driver?
No.
Okay.
Then, I bet you wish.
I would like that gig, but I wouldn't take it in Seattle.
Really?
I
would turn it down?
Nope,
Wow.
I would turn it down because that team is totally unnecessary.
You'd be the only necessary employee.
I don't want to be part of it, Cubby. I don't want to be part of it. There was absolutely no need for that hockey club.
Around.
Michigan Wolverines baseball player, a Michigan Wolverines baseball player who is called Mitch Voigt, had some folks looking at him sideways because of something he did out on the ball field, and this became a wildly popular video. Michigan Wolverines playing college baseball the other day against somebody, it doesn't matter. Voigt hits an RBI triple for the Wolverines. It was his celebration that has everyone talking. After sliding safely into third, Randy Shaver, he pretended to snort the baseline like he was snorting cocaine.
Ooh.
This is up on 93X.com.
Not a good move.
Women really liked this move.
They liked his move?
Yeah, that's what I gathered from Twitter.
Because women love cocaine?
It was just kind of like the way he did it. Was
they
very
thought it was
attractive.
sexy?
Yeah.
Just look smooth doing it.
I'd have to agree. There's something about it.
Did it look like he's been in that situation before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's probably practiced that
Yeah.
celebration.
So a lot of folks complained about how inappropriate his actions were. Others got a kick out of it. You had folks online saying, act like you've been there before.
Right.
What if my kids were watching? How am I supposed to explain that to my kid?
Just don't explain it. I heard the act like you've been there before so many times. My dad has drilled that into me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
To the point where I like barely celebrated if I did anything, really good.
Meanwhile, if your dad ever got in the end zone in an NFL game, I bet he'd do the icky shuffle.
Whatever that is. But
I bet he'd do the... This Voight kid says he's sorry for his cocaine snorting celebration. He says, quote, "It does not reflect my character."
This dude totally does coke.
I made an immature decision in the heat of the moment. What band, Josh? The Heat of the Moment.
Oh, it's that one guy.
1982, Randy. It was the heat
Yes, I know the
of
song.
the moment, telling me what your heart meant.
That is pretty hilarious if he actually didn't think about that ahead of time at all. That's the first thing that crossed his mind. I'm going to pretend I'm snorting cocaine. What?
Yeah, the adrenaline going, just like when he does cocaine.
Asia. The answer is Asia.
Yeah, a lot of people cover that song lately.
Also watching that incredible catch by the outfielder on 93X. Wow.
Right?
That was awesome.
That's incredible. I'm a little I know it's the bullpen area, so that's why the wall is half wall.
Right.
But that's a dangerous thing. I don't
That's
care if
what
it's
I
college or whatever to have a half wall like that.
That must have hurt, too. He got up pretty fast, but he's feeling that today.
It's a great catch.
Thank you for bringing that up. It is up on 93x.com. That was...
Looks like a Texas A&M game. Whoever A&M was playing is the kid that caught the ball.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi versus regular Texas A&M.
Oh, gotcha. Wow.
The Corpus Christi kid, here he is.
The crowd goes nuts here in a second.
The kid goes by the name of Christian Johnson. Well, Josh, you got one of those. You've got maybe the most Christian Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to break it down, it's Irish Catholic Johnson. Which might,
get it right.
If you're picturing it in your head, that might help. Irish Catholic Johnson.
You beat that stereotype. You did.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, my God.
They're saying this is one of the most incredible catches you'll ever see. I agree with you.
I can't look at Josh any...
Here he comes, old Christian Johnson. Next time he comes walking into the room, Christian Johnson alert.
Be a great wrestling name. This is a very religious wrestler.
Josh, you got one of those.
This dude went ass over apple cart.
Yeah,
great
catch.
And how quickly he popped up also was almost cartoon-like.
Yeah.
He popped up faster than...
Well, I think he wanted to make sure that the umpires realized he caught the ball. Because if he lays there, nobody can see him. I mean, the guys in the bullpen can.
Well, also the bases were loaded, so he wanted to get the ball into the infield. But, we've seen many guys blast over the top of a fence. No one has popped up quicker, and you can use this as a joke, Josh. No one has risen quicker than Christian Johnson. I don't know if you care at all about this kind of stuff here, Randy Shaver. The Vikings agreed to a deal with a cornerback.
Yep.
Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, he's been around. He was a high draft choice. I want to say by the Lions. He's young, too. He's only like 25 or 26. I think they're just looking for depth at that position. I'm not sold that he's going to be a starter for him, but I think he adds a lot of depth at that position.
Did you know they swung a deal for a running back to play alongside?
Yeah, I love Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason's
a really good player. I'm surprised that San Francisco, although the 49ers, the Guerrero kid, had a nice finish to the season, so they probably felt like maybe Mason was expendable, but Jordan Mason's a solid running back. That's a good pickup by the Vikings, too.
And a listener sent us a funny picture that you might like. He's from a town called Milltown, Wisconsin. Do you know the place, Randy Shaver?
No.
I don't know Milltown either. but they've got a beautiful kind of a brick welcome to Milltown sign there when you enter the city limits. And there's a space there where, you can take those letters and make a message. Maybe they'd say, chili cook-off tonight, 7 o'clock at the VFW, whatever you want to put on the little message. According to this listener, right now on the Welcome to Milltown sign, there's a message that says, Aaron Rodgers and Winter both need to quit.
It's being reported this morning that the Vikings are not seeking Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I just saw on Twitter, Tom Pelissero had to ruin all of our fun.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
And Josh and Randy, what does that usually mean 9 times out of 10?
He'll sign by the end of the week.
Yeah, I don't think in this case that's what it means.
I'm convinced.
But I'm looking at the wording of his tweet. The team plans to add a veteran, but they're not pursuing Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they're gonna...
this time.
He'll be wearing a Viking hat by 1 o'clock this afternoon and taking photographs with the media.
I don't think so.
Those are the kind of things that happen in the heat of the moment. Randy Shaver, text Brad and tell him you're sorry about his diarrhea. He couldn't make it today.
Well, I'll wait till Friday and tell him in person.
Okay. And then everyone tonight, or at the very earliest tomorrow morning, we need your significant other's NCAA bracket so we can begin the fun.
On it.
All right, Randy Shaver, thank you very much.
See ya.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Ah, great. Just great. Welcome back to our radio program, the F and 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Oh, we hope you're having just the greatest day. It's National Backyard Games Day today and all day long. We covered that earlier. We discussed some of our favorite backyard games. Save your butt sex jokes. That bit was played out earlier.
Oh, kind of looking forward to one.
Were you ready to text one up?
Yeah.
A butt sex joke?
No, I like to read them.
Oh, you want to read them?
Yeah.
Okay, send Cubby your anal jokes. He's still not done with it today on this special day. How did I say it again? National Backyard Games Day. Some of our favorite backyard games that we talked about, bocce ball, the ladder game thing, stupid kickball, horseshoes, of course, cornhole, croquet. Am I missing any?
Well, we talked We talked about other ones that weren't on the list, like playing 500, just playing catch.
Yeah.
Did you say wiffle ball this time?
I did not.
What about kick the can? Did you guys ever play kick the can?
Yes, and I was always the can.
Oh, you? They just kicked you?
Yeah.
Tell me the concept again of kick the can, because I don't think we played it in our neighborhood. Spin the bottle sounds familiar, and there was a lot of making out going on amongst third graders. And what was kick the can?
One person, there'd be a can, usually a pop can of some sort.
Is it okay if it's a beer can?
Oh, if you want to play by those rules, you go right ahead. But
Okay.
We played a sober game of kick the can.
5, 6, 7 kids.
Yep.
There's an empty can.
One guy's guarding it, and when he sees somebody coming to get the can, he can call their name. So your goal is to kind of circumvent, kind of come up behind, sneak behind him, and kick the can when he's not looking.
Boy, I feel like I really missed out.
That sounds awful.
And while we're talking activities that we enjoy, check this deal out right here. This effing thing, this subject was tailor-made for oddball Dana over there with all the childlike things that he spends his time getting involved in. Legos and whatnot, right? Don't you like Legos?
Love Lego.
They're so fun, but so expensive.
I knew it. I knew Dana was going to say it without the S.
Yep, that's the correct term. I know there are a lot of Lego fans, AFOLs as we call ourselves, adult fans of Lego in the audience. So anytime Lego comes up, I make sure to never have the S on it because I want to keep my cred with the Lego crowd.
Well, I know they get very upset.
Some people do. Some people get very passionate about it. I usually let it slide, but in this case, with people listening to our conversation, I always have to do Lego right by not making it plural.
That is so weird. So the plural for Lego is just Lego?
Yeah. I went to the store, bought a bunch of Lego sets.
And if you use it any other way in front of the purists, they'll beat the living hell out of you.
Oh, I've seen it.
I guess when you say it that way, Dana, it sounds right. But if I was just like chilling and I was like, oh, I want to do some Lego, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, same with saying like, oh, will you clean up that pile of Lego? It does kind of sound a little weird.
I'm not sure what the hell this means. Here's a listener texted in to say that his favorite backyard game is finding some mud for my turtle. Oh, I know what the hell you're saying there. I told you, send your anal sex jokes to Josh. Finding some mud for his turtle, Josh.
I got what he meant.
What again is the title for adult Lego fans? You call yourselves what?
AFOL or AFOL, adult fans of Lego.
Adult fans of... Do you know a guy who loves... something or another, a hobby or an interest, but they try to keep it on the down low. There's a list online of hobbies and interests that men have that they admit they've kept it away from their bros, okay? I'm trying to think of some things personally, and I can't think of one. But maybe I'll get there as we further the conversation. So again, these are hobbies and interests that dodes have, but they don't tell their broskies. Things like keeping stuffed animals and plushies.
That is so cute.
On the bed.
Oh my gosh, my heart would melt.
Really?
Yes.
You wouldn't be a little creeped out? Let's say you're a single lady again, and it's possible. We know your fiance. The guy's a little squirrely. Let's say you're a single lady again someday, and double up. Some dude hauls you back to his house for action. You crack open the door. He's got little stuffed animals on his bed. That doesn't give you the creeps at all? You find that adorable? I would be creeped out.
Now that I think about it, that has happened to me before. It was just a guy friend, though. And he was like showing us his room, and he had little stuffed animals on his bed. And I immediately jumped on the bed and like asked, "Oh, what's this one's name?" and was in love with it.
Were they like Transformers or little football players, or were we talking about like teddy bears?
Yeah.
All right. So you love.
I guess it would work for a girl that likes that kind of stuff because I did immediately jump on his bed.
Yeah. I suppose you were right there on his bed for the taking.
Yeah.
You're a fan of stuffed animals.
Yeah, I think that probably helps quite a bit.
You think it's totally fine if a grown man, has little Care Bears and whatnot on his bed?
Oh, Care Bears. Yeah, that's cute.
All right.
George said, I have a Beanie Baby collection. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh. It's a very hip thing, a very hip line that he dumped on us there. He's sorry, but he's not really sorry about his Beanie Baby killer. These stuffed animal fans, men, grown men, they say, I have stuffed animals and plushies from Squishmallow on my bed. Do you know what that means, to be from Squishmallow?
Yeah, it's a really popular stuffed animal brand.
Okay. One stuffed animal enthusiast, grown man. He especially likes, Josh, he likes the dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his
Everybody likes
little
dinosaurs.
Stegosaurus and his Brontosaurus and his damn, what's the one that'll kill you dead before you, the Tyrannosaurus? One grown man keeps this secret away from his buddies. I secretly love motivational quotes.
Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know why you want to keep that from your bros.
Because a lot of them are really cheesy.
Oh, yeah. I hate the great majority of them. I hate that.
I guess I'm thinking of like famous quotes from, leaders back in the day. Like Winston Churchill or something like that. You're talking about like hang in there? Or
right.
that kind of stuff?
That's what I was picturing, the dopey stuff that people hang on their walls that say something about life and love and wine. I love my wine. Shut up.
I just thought of something that I was trying to think of my fiance, because he's very open about all of his interests. He doesn't really care what anybody thinks about him. And one thing that I bet his bros don't know is that he used to, before he met me, he would wake up early in the morning, have his cup of coffee, and read from like an inspirational quote book.
Oh, really?
And when I found that out, I thought it was adorable, but also so nerdy.
This is how he would get himself motivated for his day?
Yeah, he said it didn't last too long, but because he just couldn't do the early mornings anymore. But yeah, it was cute because I found the book one day. It had a bookmark in it, and I thought, what's this here, buddy?
So this is a guy who's openly admitted to being a pecker checker, checking out wieners at urinals, did dance all through middle school, high school, but this is the funniest thing about him by far.
He has his things.
I told you, the guy's squirrely. There's an individual who works here in this building, and I've been in her bathroom, and I don't think I've ever busted her balls about the motivational sign she had. I haven't been to her place in a long time. Had hanging in her bathroom, and I'm trying to remember it. I just thought it was so stupid, and I didn't want to tell her how I felt because I like her. It was something like, It's better to be fooled by a kiss than kissed by a fool. What the hell does that mean? Why is it on your wall?
In the bathroom.
This is what you want people to see when they're...
Here's some stuff this person's afraid to let their bros know about that they're into. Houseplants, scented candles, pegging, classical music. That's a whole list of things.
Houseplants, scented candles, and classical music, you said. You didn't say anything else.
There was nothing else. It was just those ones there.
I could have sworn.
I told you about my buddy whose wife is so freaking obsessed with scented candles burning constantly in the house that he just spends a fortune on this stuff.
They're not cheap. I bought them for gifts for folks. I was surprised.
And then one day she says, hey, come into the room here. And she points up at the ceiling. Why does our ceiling look like all black and yellow and like this? And he says, because you got a friggin' fire in the house burning at all times. Oh, God. All right. Here's some other hobbies and interests that dudes are into, but they're not going to tell their dude friends. Bubble baths. You know why I never liked a bath even when I was a kid, Josh?
Why?
Because I got no ass.
You're sliding around everywhere?
Oh, you got to get one of those nice pads and put on the bottom.
I was born with a trucker butt. I got no ass cheeks, so it was always so uncomfortable to sit in a damn tub.
I've never had a bubble bath. I mean, outside of when I was a kid, the bubbles that are created by the soap, but I've never put something in there to have a bubble bath.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever had one of those either, but just like an old school bath you used to take as a kid.
Oh, you've never thrown in a bath bomb?
No, I just found out about those a couple of years ago. My wife, any gift she got one of her girlfriends, she'd also include a bath bomb.
Oh, that's a great gift giver.
Bath bomb.
I think she gave me bath bombs, actually.
I'm sure, she was really into it for a while.
For the longest time, Josh, I was like you. I didn't know what a bath bomb was, but I heard my ex-wife and her friends talk about them, and I, honest to God, for a while thought they were referring to farting in the bathtub. And I'm like, they're so open about this. This is bizarre.
I was once gifted a bath bomb by a young lady, and then she gave me a little kiss. And I remembered that slogan that I saw on my coworker's bathroom wall that said, I'd rather be fooled by a kiss than kissed by a fool. Let me do one more here, then we got to take a break. Here's a guy who says, my wife and I watch every season of something called Love is Blind on Netflix, and I love it, he says.
Was that just here?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
it was.
most recent season happened in Minneapolis. And
Well, that's where we are.
Yeah, it is.
Now that's exciting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people were like, oh, I know that place. I've been to that bar.
Yeah.
Lame claim to fame, my daughter did one of their hair.
Oh, really?
People on there.
That's cool.
I watched a little bit of this season with my fiance because she loves the trashy TV. I kind of duck in and out too, and it was entertaining in that this is so stupid type of way. Because the whole concept is it's two people, they talk through a screen so they can't see each other, they get to know each other, and the only way they can ever see each other in real life is if they propose to each other.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
It is.
Now, have you ever heard of or seen an episode of this program where someone comes out from behind that screen and they are just ass ugly?
No, because that's the thing, is they act like, oh, we're proving that love is blind. You know, you get to know somebody. The people they pick for the show are all drop-dead gorgeous.
Yeah,
we would have
exactly.
sex with any of them instantly.
Exactly. Both genders.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
They just parodied one of those shows on Family Guy, the most recent.
Oh, did they?
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
have to check
that's
that
so
out.
funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
When you watch this most recent season of Love is Blind, Dana, and you noticed, oh, I know that location and I know that location, were there any locations that were similar to when you watch Mighty Ducks?
A couple of them, yeah.
What a coincidence. I saw that same street corner when I watched Mighty Ducks, and now it's on Love is Blind. Oh, I watched Mallrats, and I saw that and this.
It was actually pretty funny. We were watching an episode, and the couple that got engaged, they're having a heart-to-heart conversation in the sunken flower garden at the Como Zoo. And I'm sitting there watching my fiance. I go, that's where I got married.
I like cheering for your state. I like it when it gets some attention.
I don't know. It's like we whack off a little too hard over that in this town, I think. You know, when, oh, my God.
It's just hometown pride. There's nothing wrong with that.
It can be fun.
I hear what you're saying, where some people it's kind of ridiculous.
It's
but
dangerous is what it is,
I
Josh.
like when
Hometown
local
pride
folks
is...
have success.
Half-assed morning show.
I'll never forget my old dad. The things he'd say to me.
What did he say?
What the hell are you doing in the bathroom day and night? Why don't you get out of there? Give someone else a chance.
On 93X.
Yeah, what we were saying a few minutes ago, we were talking about this here. A list online of hobbies and interests that men have that they keep away from their pals. They don't let their bros know that they're dialed into these certain hobbies and interests. Stuffed animals, motivational quotes, bubble baths, watching a television program called Love is Blind. Personally, I still can't think of anything. And if I did have one of these supposedly, I don't know what the word would be.
Guilty pleasure, maybe?
I suppose. Some kind of a guilty pleasure, hobby, or interest. I wouldn't be afraid if my guy friends knew about it. If they don't like it, they can kiss my ass.
I think that changes as you get older.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean,
I wouldn't care at this point, but I bet when I was younger, there'd be some things I cared about.
I shave my armpit hair because I wear sleeveless shirts anytime it's above 50 degrees, and I think that a hairy armpit looks gross, so I trim the hair in my armpits.
I
I have respect.
What's that?
I said, but me? Respect.
Yes. You're giving me mad respect for such a thing?
Yeah, because it can get kind of gross.
I got made fun of for cutting my eyebrows back. They got real bushy, and I trimmed those back a little bit, and I got crap.
Who? From a guy friend?
No, a girlfriend, actually.
A girlfriend?
Like meeting a girl I was dating.
Like, sorry, I don't want to look like a Cro-Mag.
Well, it was kind of getting out of control.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
silly.
it's not like I, was plucking them and putting eyeliner on or anything, whatever you do to your eyebrow.
I think that's very normalized now, too, for guys to take care of their eyebrows, which they should. Take care of them.
Manscaping.
I manscape.
Can be in all different parts of the body.
Oh, boy, do I. Poops in boxes, Jesus said, being the little spoon. You know, sometimes it's nice.
It is
F
nice.
off, LOL.
I hate having to be the big spoon sometimes.
Spooning is against the rules in my book in
What
the
about
first
with the
place.
puppies?
Oh, I love doing that.
I spoon my puppies.
I don't know.
Oh, that's the best.
I got such a tiny little dog. If I spooned her, I'd kill her.
Yeah, probably.
True.
All right, here are some other hobbies and interests that dudes have, but they're not going to tell their bros. Sewing. Good for you if you know how to sew.
I wish I knew how.
My God, I would end up impaling myself within minutes. Baking, boy bands.
I was embarrassed for a while that I started to like pop music because of my kid. She loved it, and I despised it until I started listening to it. I'm like, okay, I understand what she likes about it.
Yeah, most of it I can't get involved in the pop music. I mean,
Josh.
I like old pop, like the Bee Gees and whatnot. I love that.
I can distinctly remember a time, Josh, where we were out in high school doing whatever. I was the one driving. I dropped all my friends off, and as soon as the last friend got out of the car, I took out, whatever Linkin Park or Stain we were listening to, and immediately put in like an NSYNC CD or something. Just once the bros were gone, I felt safe.
Oh, remember the hate we got when we played the Backstreet Boys? Is it I Want It That Way? It was like an Edge Fest or an X Fest. We blasted it from our car.
Oh, yeah.
There's people that wanted to kill us.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. It's fun to be the heel in that situation. Here's a 30-year-old guy who loves what he calls raunchy pop music from people like Nicki Minaj. Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. That's raunchy what those girls do?
Nicki Minaj, definitely raunchy, but
Yeah, she
not
can be.
Taylor.
Okay.
Who did WAP?
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
That is foul.
Yeah, you can't.
That's too much. That was too much when you wrote that, Cardi B.
That was my 2-year-old niece when she was about 1. That was one of her favorite songs.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she loved the beat.
Too much.
Romantic comedies, romance novels, pedicures, Legos, classical music. Now, here are some texts that came in from our listeners. They also had something to say, the dudes, some of their hobbies and interests that they keep a secret. One listener loves a good pedicure, and yes, my toenails are painted.
Yeah, that's something I've never done. I mean, with my daughter, we'd play Pretty Pretty Princess when she was very little, and I begrudgingly let her paint my toenails once. But
I considered it because of the fungus.
Oh.
Yeah, you probably should have done it.
I considered it. I did. I thought, this is so bad.
I thought you already did. Without how yellow your nails were. That's an unnatural color.
That poor person would probably quit the profession if Nick walked in.
Now, one of the items in this report, this list of online hobbies and interests that dudes are ashamed to admit, one of them was, I love motivational quotes. And what I assume them to mean are those dopey signs you see hanging in people's homes, and they're just so douchey. A listener, Poonhound in Mound, Jesus, he wanted my feelings on lake life or life is better on the lake.
Do cabins come with those?
I'm
or
pretty
is that
sure.
Yeah.
And
the realtor gives it to you and you sign on the papers.
I texted back, I said, make me puke. I cannot stand, because basically all you're saying there is, I have a boat.
Yep.
That's all you're saying.
It's one big humble brag.
I hate that lake life. Life is better on the lake. I see it all the time because I do end up on the lake a lot in the summer, and you see people wearing the T-shirts, and they have a flag on the back of their boat. Lake life, shut up. One of our listeners collects, am I saying this right? Collects graded Pokemon cards? Graded?
Yeah, he's probably rich then.
Fishing in the Dark Jesus does that. That means they're worth a lot of monies?
Yeah, I mean, some of the old ones, especially if they're graded too and in mint condition, yeah, you can make a lot of money on those.
Josh, Richfield Jesus is a big fan of something called ikebana, which is the Japanese art of flower arranging.
Oh, I could appreciate that.
Man.
That sounds really cool.
I always wanted to be able to trim a bonsai tree after the Karate Kid.
Oh, have you ever seen those at the Como Zoo? Those are so sweet.
No, and I love that zoo. Like, they have the little ones or big ones?
Yeah, they have little trees and they have like 10 or 12 of them. I love them.
I got to take a look next time.
They're so expensive to do, though.
I've heard they can be very expensive.
Finally, one of our male listeners is into collecting women's underwear, but he does not get specific as to how he, what's the word I'm looking for, Josh? How he
obtains them?
Obtains all these pairs of women's underwear.
Right. Are they aware? Are they unaware?
This matters.
Are there people missing some?
It makes a difference.
Do you wander around neighborhoods during the summer and you pluck them off the clothesline? He has a massive collection of women's underwears, but no further details.
Yeah, are they in a top drawer, in a hamper? I mean, there's so many different circumstances.
Are you wearing a ski mask when you obtain these pairs of women's underwears in an empty house? Is it just you in an empty house? We don't know. One thing I do know is it's time to get going again.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.